studios. KHTK AM and HD1 Sacramento. KYMX HD2 Sacramento. Sports 1140. KHTK.
Sort of a weird face, kind of unattractive.
Yeah! It's the Carmichael Dave Show.
Come on. Let's wake up.
With Jason Ross.
He is wise.
The only local sports talk show that helps you get through your morning commute. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sports 1140 KHTK.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We're in a lively, fun mood this morning.
Yes,
I've
lively
noticed
and
this.
fun.
We've already had a belly full of laughs. We've gone down the road of 80s adult contemporary.
Yes. Smash hits.
Smash it.
Yeah.
Can you say that on the air?
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. Jay Mars, Jason Ross, Carmichael Dave, good morning. How are you? Hello to everybody on YouTube. Let's see. I got a lot for you today, Jason. This opening is always sometimes therapy.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in day 2, 3? This is 3. This is day 3 of a no-talker with my wife. We've not spoken since around 1 p.m. What is today? Thursday, Wednesday, 1 p.m. Tuesday.
Okay.
So this is what it's about. I'm on the way home. I forget from where. And I call her. She's at home. And it was noon maybe because it was lunchtime. I say, hey, are you hungry? Do you want me to pick something up? She goes, yes. That'd be great. I go, cool. What do you want? I don't care. And I go, and listen, this is a classic husband-wife argument. I get it. And I go, okay, gotcha. I don't care either. So just pick something. I really don't care. And I'm like, well, okay, how about this? I'm driving, I'm getting it, I'm bringing it back, so you pick. Yeah, I'm not going to pick. Now it's a thing. Because now it's a standoff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, I'm not picking. You know what's near us. Just throw a random place out there. I'll go there.
Yeah.
And I will buy it.
And you'll find something for yourself.
I will find something for me. I will work within the confines of the place you suggest.
Even no matter what name she said, you're
Doesn't matter
Okay.
what she could have said. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
I would have found. She could have said Les Schwab tires. I would have raided the vending machine.
Okay.
But just give me a suggestion. I'm not picking. I don't care. Yeah, I get it, but I don't care either. We equally don't care. And my contribution is running and finding and buying and delivering. I am Uber Eatsing you food.
Yeah.
All you have to do is just pick one.
But now it's suddenly sounding like both sides care immensely without caring.
They care about not picking. Now, the mature thing, of course, would have been to pick the thing. Okay, fine. We'll do it.
But you were fearful you'd pick wrong?
I was fearful I'd pick wrong, number one. And number two, and this is where the fight really broke open when I got home, is I was like, this is why our son does this. This is why he doesn't pick anything. This is why he has trouble making decisions, because you mask your fear of picking wrong or lack of caring about picking right with this stubbornness, and it's where he goes. He's not stubborn or mean about it. He's just like, I really don't. He really
care, Dad.
I don't. Yeah, he has a very tough time. I think he's afraid of letting people down is what it is. He doesn't like the pressure. I'm like, this is where this comes from. And then
a lot of pressure.
Well, you know it would come from if you were at a soccer game on set. Well, I wasn't at a soccer game because I was at Memorial Day, which we play. And then, and what I've realized going on my 15th year this July of marriage, that the fights are not, like, we're not fighting about somebody didn't pick the place to
Right.
I don't know what we're fighting about, but it just, I think through time in unhealthy relationships like the one I have, there's little things that just throw gas on the straw. And after a while, the straw just smells like you spilled gas all over the floor. And at some point, the tiniest spark. And then, everybody does stuff differently. Our way of re-healthifying our relationship is we just don't talk for a while. It's, okay, you know what? We don't. I don't want to talk to you. We'll talk in a few days. Someone will break down. I think it's her turn. I think I did last time. I don't know. We do kind of keep score. But it is really a stupid fight over who didn't. It's like, dude, just pick.
And do your kids notice that you're not talking?
We actually, I don't want to be naive. I think we don't fight in front of the children. I mean, I can count on one hand the amount of times we have. But yeah, we don't. They probably know something's up because, like, the kids and I watched Obi-Wan last night, and Melissa ate at the dinner table, which is weird. We usually all eat together. But maybe they were just like, eh. Plus, I made a cake yesterday, so I think they were distracted. So that's number one. Number two.
I don't know why that just tickled me. Plus,
What?
I made a cake. They were
I
distracted.
did. I made a cake. They were distracted. I got that
The
mixer.
mixer, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, how long does the mixer last? Like your obsession over it? Because I know you're like me. You hyper focus on
Month.
things and then move on.
Month, and then we'll rekindle our love during the holidays.
Gotcha.
Do a lot of baking. But I've got some cookies to make. I'm going to make a zucchini. We just picked our first 3 zucchini from the garden. Going to make zucchini bread.
Back to Melissa. I think you need to throw her off.
The train,
Whoa.
Yeah,
the
this
bus,
sound-
the cliff.
This sounds very much like it is routine now, the way you're describing it. I think you should come home with like a dozen roses. No, like throw her off.
would
Just
throw her
throw
off.
the guilt. Like,
To what end?
I don't go to whatever ends it is. Just change it up a little
No,
bit.
but why?
Why not? This sounds boring. Like this story.
routine fight.
It's too routine.
But here's the thing. I kind of like these moments because I get the whole bed to myself. I get to watch whatever I want to watch on TV. I don't have to hear about whatever god-awful stupid things you went through at work all day. I mean, it's incredibly selfish. I understand that.
It
But
really.
But, dude, come on. How many times have we as spouses had to pretend we care about the thing that the lady said about the guy, about the boss and all
It's
that?
in the vows, bro.
And I know, and you try to
Sickness
keep...
and health and not caring.
And they
And
need...
here's karma with your bad back.
I know,
Yeah.
and that's why I'm day 3, 4, 5 of bad back.
All I'm saying is try something new.
I don't want to show her. I don't want to justify her behavior.
What did you pick for food, by the way?
You know what? Oh, let's see this word. It is an insight into how bad of a person I am. What did I pick for food?
Something she doesn't like.
I didn't pick anything. I came home and had leftovers and went right upstairs because I know she's on crutches. So I was like, have fun making lunch, B. And I grabbed my stuff, went upstairs, and then about 10
I can't
minutes.
imagine how this fight kept going.
I know.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go ahead and say again. Maybe you try this time.
What? No, why? I don't want, but I don't. I'm not sitting here like, God, we gotta make up.
I know
is
you're
rough.
not, but that's the
And
thing.
my spades
she
partner's out of
knows
town.
that.
And my spades partner's out of town this weekend, so no spade. That's usually 90% of the time. That's why I make up with her is because we have a spades game this weekend, and that's like the highlight of my week.
Again, an opportunity to throw her for a loop and get into her head. Just saying.
I went upstairs with whatever leftovers I had, and like 10 minutes later, I hear her just crushing her way into the kitchen. God knows, probably holding whatever food sandwich she concocted between her shoulder and neck, and I'm up there laughing like a bad person. I understand. I'm being fully honest.
I'm just trying to help you out, but that's
From TC, stop always complaining about your wife, Dave, acting like you never do anything wrong, bro. That might just be the issue. Dude,
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Hey, bro, get out of here. I'll want to, and I don't ever do anything wrong. I want to start out the show. Well, I guess
we already
continue
started the show.
I want to apologize publicly, not to my wife.
This needs to happen.
This needs to happen. This is a very lively.
This is to me and Jay.
Yeah, it's to you and Jay.
Yeah.
So the conversation started the only 2 times that I think we have heard that section of below Florida referred to as the Caribbean was Pirates of the Caribbean and the song Caribbean Queen.
Yes.
By William Ocean, better known as Billy.
Yeah.
All right. So this is Caribbean Queen. Now, this is going to appeal only to, and it may not appeal, but
Oh, it appeals.
to the, probably over 40, 35, 30, over
But
21.
if you're
probably.
under that age, you're getting a good education on some great music.
Yes.
So Billy Ocean, you probably heard, and I'll let the hook roll right here. Okay, so he's not saying Caribbean Queen. It's Caribbean Queen.
It was probably spelled wrong on the lyric page.
And I went, okay, well, I said something like, well, Billy is a great two-hit wonder because he had that,
How dare you?
and then he had, I'll forward through, he had, oh, come on.
Hey, you.
That Miami Sound Machine. So he had the stalker-sounding hit, Get Out of My Dreams, and Get Into My Car. Here we go. Here's the hook. I'm your man. Get in the back. Oh, hey, it wasn't a Get in the Back Seat, baby. That's
Later on.
We were asking where she sat.
Yeah.
We had
Get in the backseat, baby.
yes, which is a fine line, by
Yes.
the way. So I said, well, hey,
He's an Uber driver.
it was pre-Uber.
Yeah, it was Ocean.
And I thought, what a neat two-song hit guy. Two-hit wonder.
How dare you?
How dare I?
Let's slow it down a bit.
I completely,
Then suddenly you remembered.
suddenly, I remembered that Billy had one of the great ballads of that era,
For sure.
right?
Mm-hmm.
We got to go.
There's more than this.
Well, here we go. There'll be sad songs.
We gotta get
This is
Billy
what
on
you
the
do.
show.
Huh?
That's what you do to Melissa. You sing this when you get home.
And then another, and I know we got another great one.
I agree. You should just walk in and just start singing Billy Ocean ballads,
Yes.
bro.
Yes. Life has new meaning.
You should apologize.
What's her least favorite
to
food?
me. What?
What's her least favorite food?
I don't know. Whatever I'm making.
Walk in with that.
Yeah, there you go. Then just drop and put it like on the ground, just far enough away from her where
With
she,
this in the
she
background,
can't reach
dude.
it with the crutch on.
You're
in love. That four-hit wonder, Billy Ocean. God bless.
Once you hit your fourth hit, are you no longer a wonder?
Yeah.
You just got
a-
hits.
you're
You
just a
just got
hitter.
hits.
Yeah,
You're a hit
exactly.
maker.
Yeah,
Got a lot
yeah,
of-
bangers.
We're gonna have bangers tonight. Not bangers and mash like England. Bangers as in awesome plays in basketball.
Nice. Good work.
NBA Finals begin tonight. Will a dynasty continue or will another dynasty begin? Or neither. I don't know. We got that and more.
They might both lose.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're all losers.
Kings win.
Hey, the Kings win. Leading off is next.
Sports 1140. KHTK.
Let's do it.
It's time for Leading Off. Brought to you by Lasher's Elk Grove Dodge, where for over 60 years, their name means a great deal in Elk Grove Auto Mall and online at elkgrovedodge.com. Here's cut number one.
Anybody who needs to be reminded to have appropriate fear in the NBA Finals should just not show up. Like, just go home and don't come. I mean, there's no such thing as appropriate fear in the finals. Like, this is the NBA Finals, so Boston's one of the very best teams in the league, the number one defense. Just don't show up. If you don't have it, then watch it on TV. Mic drop.
That's Steve Kerr.
Yucking it up.
That's the music in the background getting turned up, just like we're all going to get turned up for tonight's game. Is that proper? Did I do that right? Turn up with a T at the end.
You got a little more emphasis on the T at the end.
Turned
There you go.
Turned up.
Perfect.
I'm excited. Feel these nipples. Boston, Golden State, Boston, Warriors, Celtics. This time is for real.
Yes.
Are you excited?
Yeah.
I'm like sort of.
I will be, especially when it gets started, the intros and the open and all that stuff. I like all that. Pat O'Brien's intro.
Yes, we got all kinds of stats and numbers and stuff. Or weirdly enough, because you think of dynasty, you're like, okay, well, the dynastic franchises, the Lakers, the Celtics, and then there's like that second tier, the Bulls and I don't know, Detroit.
Yeah.
Sacramento.
Yeah. Oh, Golden State's right up there, man.
Well, if they win the title tonight, they move into sole possession of third place for most titles won all time.
And isn't it if Boston wins, don't they pass
the Lakers?
Yeah.
I didn't realize they were tied.
Yeah. That's a big thing to both franchises.
Kind of want the Celtics.
I
to win
was
now.
just gonna say that kind of puts, because I don't have a dog in this fight. I got a lot of Warrior friends, but they've had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I do acknowledge that this is a really good story. The whole comeback from injury. Would the Warriors ever be back? And now they're back. But then ex-King Ime Udoka winning one in his first year.
Ex-King. Yeah.
Horford getting a ring.
Stauskas.
Oh God, now okay, maybe I'm rooting for the Warriors now. God,
Bielitsa getting that ring.
Hey, F it, we deserve this ring.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm gonna put together a list of all-time Kings who got a ring somewhere else.
I would not like that.
Yeah.
I would not like you to do that.
I don't like
please.
that call.
Why?
Not a very good call, because it's sad.
There'll
Is
be
it?
sad songs.
Yeah.
There'll be sad rings
Yeah.
to make you cry.
Don't do that. We'll be covering
We'll have
this.
that next segment.
Sam Amick at 8 o'clock as well. Number 2.
Cut number 2.
Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. And the ball game is over. So is the Phillies' 5-game losing streak. The Phillies come from behind win as they beat the Giants 6-5.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Giants were up 5-2.
They were.
And then they lost.
This is a crazy game, man.
Is this the one that does it? Giants are now out?
Yeah. Giants have been not
Officially
officially eliminated, but pretty close.
You can't come back from a loss
You're
like
not
that.
coming back from
At the
that.
start of June. It's now June. You got to be serious now.
It was 2-0 Philly, and then Giants put a 5 spot on the board in the top of the 6th, and then give up a 4 spot in the bottom of the 6th. 9 runs in that inning, and now you're looking at 6-5.
Championship teams don't lose that game.
They don't. Philly doubles up. The Giants, 5 runs on 5 hits. They also had an error in there as well. And Wilmer Flores with a nice home run. But beyond that, you wasted a pretty damn good outing by Carlos Rodon. He only went 5 innings, but he was about 100 pitches. Gave up an earned run. And ladies and gentlemen, that's what happens when you don't watch a single second of the ball game and you try to radioize a box score. Everything I just said was just live reading off the box. I don't. A's lost too.
Oh, the A's lost. There was almost no hit for a while. Then they had the lead, and then they lost the game as well.
Yep, that's hosting the Astros at home. Justin Verlander had the no for a while. He goes 7 strong, though, 2-hitter, but he did give up the 3 earned runs and a big home run as well to Betancourt. But in the end, the Astros come out on top with a 4-run top of the 9th. Again, more box score reading.
Yeah.
No idea what happened. But the A's lost.
Yes.
And honestly, Jason, what is this going to mean for the rest of the A's season?
Big picture.
Yeah.
I don't like where it's going for the A's.
I don't either. And the Giants, did we just see both Bay Area teams basically eliminated yesterday?
There's a chance. There's a chance we are going to go back and point to June 1st.
Yep.
And say that's where it ended.
That's the start of the Schneid.
The Schneid.
The Schneid. There'll be sad songs about June 1st for the rest of the year.
Right.
Also, happy 46th birthday yesterday to Dave Fleming. The
46 looking 26.
Yeah, and has been doing this, I think, since he was about 26 years old.
Yeah. Carved out a really nice career.
He's one of those
He was
guys.
doing golf the other day.
Yeah, he's done golf. He's branched out.
Just college football.
Yeah. Oh, what a wonderful career for that.
Yes.
It was going to end up like we're going to have tributes to Dave Fleming 50 years on the radio
Yeah.
someday.
Well, and I know, obviously, I think things have changed just even at the Giants broadcast booth, like watching games Hey, where's Kirk and Kuiper? But I don't think they're traveling.
Yeah, there's
not much.
Well, I know Kuiper's joining them in Florida for that, but I don't think Kirk's traveling at all. Yeah, age and other things getting to them, but man, when they're together, they don't miss it.
Well, between them and Fleming and John Miller, it's just such a well-rounded crew. But then it just thins out dramatically when you take two pieces away.
1 trillion%. So the Giants and A's lose by each by a run yesterday, and we'll have much more on that. Number 3.
Cut number 3.
Almost quickly the other way. Nobody gets back. Drew Timmy hammers home the one-handed dunk.
It's you.
Timmy!
Has anybody ever told you that guy, Drew Timmy, and you look alike?
What? Yeah.
Has anybody ever said that?
Only anytime he's ever anywhere near a television.
Oh.
On one hand, I'm a huge fan of him returning back to college because then I don't have to hear about it during the draft. And then, God forbid, the Kings draft him in the second round, which Monty McNair joked one time that he actually would do. And I, half believed him, too. Because the Giants, the Kings, it's not like Drew Timmy wouldn't be wouldn't be worth a second round flyer.
Sure.
Could use a big man. On the other hand, I'm going to have to hear it all next March again when Gonzaga inevitably, makes
their run.
Makes the tournament.
I still say if he becomes a King, you show up at media day, his press conference, and you wear the same thing.
That is actually, I think we would. Yeah, we'd have to find out what
jersey
of the
he
jersey,
is, what headband, and all that.
I'll have to shave everything but the mustache. Yeah. Hopefully, he'd grow a full beard by then, so I wouldn't have to shave anything. Gray might give me away. Might have to, adjust for a minute.
You are tall, but he's taller.
He is taller, a little bit.
Yeah,
I'd have to get him on it. He'd have to get on his knees.
Yeah,
or I'd have to get on a couple of phone books.
Yeah.
Also, the Nets have
all those phone books that are around.
All the many phone books. When was the last time you used a phone book? Right? How is the phone book still around at all?
Yeah, I get them sometimes.
I get them sometimes, and I'm trying to remember the last time, but I remember thinking, gosh, I don't know the last time I just threw it right in the recycle.
What kind of a dingleberry business do you have to be like, let's advertise in the phone book?
But I got it. There's people that still do, right?
There are. That's why there's phone books. But you want to talk about the biggest waste of tree there is.
Yeah.
Because to Jay's point, 98% of the time you grab that thing off your driveway after it's been soaked in rain and you just chuck it in the recycle.
Yeah.
Unless you have a fireplace, then it's kindling.
Yes.
Burns well.
Yes.
For barbecue.
Does it burn in alphabetical order? Got him.
Do you guys rip a phone book?
No.
Neither can I.
Have you tried?
Yeah.
I have
to rip one?
Yeah. You ever see the strongman?
No chance.
The strongman do
I
it.
know, but no chance.
Oh, no, of course. But it doesn't stop you from trying.
Strongman.
I think I was one time able to rip the bees. I just do the bees.
By page.
Right. I can rip the X's and Q's. No problem. C's? NBA
get degrees.
What?
C's get degrees.
That is true. That is 100% true. Congratulations to the NBA Finals. They start tonight. It's been a long road, but they're here. If the Warriors win, do they pass the Spurs as the team of the millennium, or have they already done that? We'll talk about that next.
Sports 1140, KHTK. Sports 1140 KHTK.
Lincoln Park, welcome us back. Jason Ross, Carmichael, Dave, J. Mars,
And Mark.
and Mark, son of Wilmer and Ramona, on the text line at 916-339-1140. You can call us. I don't know why you would. 1-800-920-1140. Watch us on YouTube and say hi. Get in the chat. It's always lively and fun. Tonight, 6 p.m., the Celtics and Warriors begin their series. Let's just get this out of the way. Let's go round the horn, if you will, because there's a lot to talk about here. If you're talking about the two teams that have the second and fourth most finals championships ever, if Boston wins tonight, then I say second, they're tied for first.
Right.
So if Boston wins tonight, they pass the Lakers. They have the most titles ever. If the Warriors win tonight, they have the third most titles ever, passing the Spurs. And I guess my first question would be, have the Warriors already passed, or do they need this finals win to pass the Spurs for Team of the Millennium?
I think it's really hard to wait. Obviously, one thing we have is recency bias.
Yeah.
The Warriors have done this all more recently. The Spurs have been so good for so long. Now, the last 3 years they haven't been. But theirs weren't one in – I don't even know. Did they ever win a back-to-back?
The Spurs?
Yeah.
They did not.
Yeah, I think they would win
No,
every other year or every third year. But they were always good.
Yeah.
Gosh. Well, and then you also need to – this isn't the end of the Warriors run here.
No. I mean, it's kind of a trick question because the Team of the Millennium, unfortunately, is the Lakers. They have 6. But I don't like counting that.
They have 6?
Lakers won it in 2000, 2001, 2002, 2009, 2010, 2020. Well, I guess 2020 doesn't count, right?
Why?
Because isn't that the
bubble?
You can't count 2000 and 2020. Oh, no, this is a millennium, not the decade. I'm stupid. Sorry. I take it back. I strike.
But I didn't even 6. Wow, I didn't even realize that.
I know. I just don't like acknowledging it.
Yeah.
So it is the Lakers, but then the Spurs won in 99, so I guess that doesn't count.
Right.
03, 05, 07, and 2014. That's 4.
Yep.
And the Lakers have 1, 2, 3. Spurs also had
6, you said, right?
What, the Warriors?
No. Oh,
That's-
you just said the Warriors had 3. Okay,
yeah,
sorry.
Warriors have 3. Spurs also were in another one. The Spurs.
They lost to the Heat
The
once.
Heat, exactly. And by the way, the Heat have 3. You can't poo-poo that.
And Boston has
Boston
1.
had just had the 1, I think,
Yeah.
in 2008.
Huh.
So there's a lot of stuff on the line, Steph Curry's legacy and all that, but let's just, who you got? Who you got?
I'm going to pick Boston.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am too.
Are you?
I am. I actually think if injuries don't rear their ugly head, which is always the asterisk, I think it could be Boston in like 5 or 6. I think Boston is demonstrably a better team.
Really?
Now,
I don't know about that, but okay, why do you say that?
Well, they've been the best team in the league for almost 5 months.
Yeah.
Their defense is maybe the best of any team since either themselves in 08 or even the Pistons, the Chauncey Billups Pistons. They've got scoring from everywhere, but that team defense is ridiculous. Really, with the Warriors, it's Draymond Green and friends. Obviously, Marcus Smart's the quarterback of that Celtics defense, but there's so Robert Williams. There's so many that will buckle down on that. And then you also look. There's 3 factors I can't account for. Number 1, injuries.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, look at the road Boston went through.
It's incredible.
They swept the Nets.
Yeah, way more difficult than the Warriors.
Way more difficult. They went toe-to-toe with the defending champions. And Middleton was out. I understand that. But still, they beat the Bucks. And then a very, very good Heat team in 7. So I can't account for them being tired out or drained. But they're also, I believe they're relatively younger. I don't want to mess up and just look at the top lines, but younger than the Warriors. And then the third thing I can't really, these are all intangibles. Really, is finals experience.
Right.
Will they wilt under the bright lights of the finals? But I think toe to toe, team for team, matchup for matchup, I think the Celtics are a better team.
Yeah, I think the only thing that sometimes happens for whatever reason to Boston, at least in this playoffs, like they just have a few clunkers in there every once in a while, in almost every series.
Yes.
Where you just go, what happened to them tonight?
Yeah.
Or a bad quarter. And I guess that could happen to every team.
Yes.
But it feels like the Warriors have been the more consistent team, at least in the playoffs, though I think the East all year long has actually been better.
Yes.
So that's part of the reason why I'm picking Boston.
Ime Udoka winning. And by the way, to your point about clunkers, looking in the playoffs right now, all their losses to the Heat were relatively close. 11 points, 6 points.
And one of them was at game 3, though. They were down like 28 points. And they almost had the miracle comeback, but you're like, what are you doing?
They lost by 3 to the Bucks, 2 to the Bucks, and 12 to the Bucks. And then they didn't lose to the Nets. Their biggest loss this postseason has been by 12.
Yeah. I just think, though, they've had their moments where you just like they've disappeared in quarters. They let you back in.
Yes.
They've had big leads. Yeah. They almost had a colossal meltdown in game 7.
Yes, they did.
I mean, Jimmy Butler's shot goes in.
Yes.
But Boston has a chance to win it after that, but they just have that happen, I think, a few more times than I think they should, but that would be my only concern.
I think we lost out a little bit with what is Jay doing here?
I have the list.
Oh, the Kings list?
Yeah, whenever you're ready, just let me know.
All right, let's just.
Is this a Kings rings list?
Yeah, Kings rings.
Now, these are Kings that got rings after playing for the Kings.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to give you an over and under. You tell me how many players you think it is.
Now, this is going back to 85?
Yes. I'm setting the over under at 11.5.
Oh, my gosh. In my head, it was 11.
And you're taking the under.
I'm going to say over at like 12.
Jason?
Well, I'll take the under.
All right.
The over hits at 14 players. You ready for this list?
Yeah.
Some of these names you're going to be like, wait, what?
I know.
Let's start in 1993 on the Chicago Bulls. Rodney McRae getting a ring on that Bulls team.
Remember that.
94, Otis Thorpe with the Rockets. 94 and 95, Kenny Smith with the Rockets.
Now, so was Thorpe on that 95 team?
94 team.
But not the 95
No,
team.
remember, he got traded for Drexler in 95.
That's right.
So Kenny Smith has 2 with them. Pete Chilcutt got a ring with the Rockets.
And, just to remind everyone, he's still here. I think he's a school teacher.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Just doesn't want any part of anything other than just to teach kids, and basketball is a former part of his life.
Think he ever flashes that ring every blue moon?
I
would.
I gotta think he brings it in for the kids every once in a while.
It's for the kids.
Moving on.
Kids, yeah.
Bill Winnington winning rings with the Bulls.
Yeah.
Same team. Randy Brown.
Randy Brown.
Easy.
This one hurts. Mitch Richmond.
Yeah,
that's
stupid.
In 04, Corliss Williamson gets a ring in Detroit. This one will throw you for a loop. 05, Tony Massenberg with the Spurs.
Oh, T-Mass.
Jason Williams with the Heat in 06.
That's Jay Will.
Yep.
Number
good job.
7 pick out of Florida. Well, there's been a few Jason Williams.
08, Eddie House with the Boston Celtics.
That's right, Ed House.
2010, Ron Artest with the Lakers.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
2011,
Peja
Stojakovic.
That's right. I remember.
And then in 2017, Matthew Barnes with the Warriors. That's it.
Matt Barnes, world champion.
14. And they'll be at 15.
Yeah, because what, you got Udoka?
We don't count Stauskas, right?
We have to.
Yeah.
Why?
Udoka and
But what if he
Stauskas.
doesn't play in the series?
Yeah, but
He gets a ring, dude.
But so does Bob in
did
concessions.
Mitch Richmond?
Yeah.
Yes, Mitch Richmond, I looked it up, played 1 minute in the NBA Finals.
Okay, well,
And he went 1 for 1 from the field.
well, here.
Will Stauskas play more than 1 minute in the finals?
No. Has Stauskas played in the playoffs?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's dumb.
I will say yes, but it'll be like 3 minutes. But yes,
Right, because it's one of those things that like someone's up 25
and what is
in
it?
one of the games.
Drip, drop, rag top. What was that rap?
Nick will make a final shot.
Yeah, it was something he did that ticked everybody off.
Yeah, no, he took I forget the song now, but it was very popular at the time.
Oh, it was a Billy Ocean song.
No, it was not
Let me see how it
Billy
sounds.
Ocean. And he basically made a rap about when the Kings with the pick swap and then the Sixers.
By the way,
trade him.
okay, so by the way, guys, Nick Stauskas went rap song. 2 minutes. He played a grand total. He played in 4 games against the Heat.
See?
2 minutes, 2 minutes, and 4 minutes. But in game 3,
regular in the rotation.
Hold on a second. In game 3 against the Heat, Nick Stauskas is credited with 0 minutes, but he was 1 of 1 from behind the arc.
He played less than a minute then.
You don't round up.
He did. He hit the last 3 of the game.
You don't round up.
No, I'm pretty sure they don't. I'm pretty sure it's a round down situation when it's less than a minute.
And he played 7 minutes against the Bucks in 4 games.
Best 7 minutes of the playoffs.
The over/under.
He's 100% getting 2 minutes in these finals.
Will he score?
Yes.
Will he rock?
No.
That's where I was going to go. Last question. You guys can think about this during the break. If Nick Stauskas gets a ring with the Celtics, does it justify Vivek picking him? Does Vivek get the final laugh?
Does Vivek get a ring?
Should Vivek get a ring for giving him his entry into the NBA? We'll take a break. When we come back, the match was played last night. The Dolphins. I was like stealing myself to not laugh, but I forgot about it, and you got me.
You would.
Did you care? Did you watch? And also, Josh Donaldson's sad. If we have time, we'll figure it out and discuss why Josh Donaldson's sad right after this.
mental intimidation. You got to like that.
I did not expect Tom Brady to drop his pants on the course, and there we were. That's not appropriate for the kids out there. That's what that clip was, right? Thank you, Jay. That's not what happened. I'm joking.
Josh Allen zingered him, though. You ready?
Yeah.
You guys are pretty good at golf. That's what happens when you don't go to OTAs. You just...
Oh, a little trash talk.
Oh, but Tom wasn't going to have that. You ready for this zinger?
I am.
Little chunky. I call that a little Josh Allen-y.
Wow. Oh, a little Josh Allen-y, but
still like the outcome.
They'll fix that one post.
Oh.
Burned.
Back and forth.
Unbelievable. Trash talk.
Trash talk was just crazy. Fireball's Josh Allen, the greater Sacramento area.
Yes. He's our own.
He is our own Josh Allen. He and Pat Mahomes against the old guard, Brady and Rodgers. Brady Rodgers went up early, too, and then Allen.
First two holes?
Yeah. Allen and Mahomes fought their way back, took the lead. It was all square going into 18, par 3.
And Brady and Rodgers won the coin toss.
They did. They won the coin toss. Did not have to play defense.
Never gave them the ball.
Rodgers with a, what was really crazy to me is, they're hitting, what was that, 170, 180, something like that. They're hitting 8 iron. Like, golly, okay. Good for you guys with your, they're pro athletes. I get it. They had a cool thing where each guy got a mulligan. 3 of them saved him for the final hole, and they didn't really necessarily work out. But in order to get the mulligan, you had to fire a football and hit a big head of Charles Barkley, which they all proceeded to do and be successful. You watched a little of this?
I did watch a little.
I watched about half of it. I was on and off. Jay was asking us before the show, why?
Yeah, why do you people do this?
What do you mean, you people?
You golf people. What is the appeal of 4 quarterbacks playing golf on TV? I'm fascinated.
I can tell you from my perspective, and Jason might differ. As somebody who enjoys and hates the game of golf, it is when you watch PGA or Champions League or Korn Ferry or LPGA play, any professional golfer, you're just like, yeah, no, I don't. You're a warlock.
Yeah, it's a different game.
What are you doing? Watching guys like this, they're still professional athletes. They're all 4 better than me at golf. But you still, there were a number of 4 rights going on where
quite a few.
You had balls flying into the crowd. It is kind of nice to watch the amateurs and how they operate the course, and then also to watch superstar quarterbacks, the most important position in all of sports, be mortal a little bit, yet still very competitive. And I think it's one thing to see these guys competitive on the football field, but when you see them outside of it, it's kind of interesting. Plus the trash talk, it's fun, it's a little entertaining. It wasn't one of the greatest thing I've ever seen, Jason. But also, the other answer, nothing else was on.
Yeah, to me, it was a TV show.
Right.
And the TV show had its entertainment. Not the best entertainment I've ever seen, but some of the interaction I thought between actually J.J. Watt and Barkley was pretty funny.
Very funny.
Connected to them, that they would talk back a little bit, and and then you're seeing, I think it's very similar to if we heard that group was out playing at Hagen Oaks,
right?
I think a phrase would be, "Oh man, I would love to be a fly on the wall with that." Well, we were the fly on the wall, and it wasn't okay. I didn't need to see the whole thing from start to finish, but saw enough of it, was entertained, and moved on.
If that's an interesting question, Jay, be a part of this here.
Sure.
It's a Saturday around 10 a.m. We just worked all week. You guys got nothing going on in the afternoon. And I call you. And I say, guys, how you doing? No. Okay. I say, guys, my buddy Tom Morton over at Hagen Oaks just called me. He said, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Aaron Rodgers just showed up for a foursome. And there's a handful of us, maybe 8 of us, that are going to walk the course with them and just kind of watch. We're going to leave them alone, but we're going to watch. But we're not telling it. Nobody knows. You guys want to go?
No.
Yeah, I probably would.
I totally would.
Yeah.
Of course, I totally would.
What are you going to do?
Watch them.
You just want to go watch them play at Hagen Oaks?
Yeah. As much to hear them talk. Maybe you talk to them a little bit if you can. If not,
whether it's interaction or not, I'm with you.
Yeah.
You want to respect the space, but also just to kind of, you're sitting there walking with those four and watching them play. I mean, listen, it's not like it's the greatest thing ever in the world.
You just made it sound like it.
But I think it would be entertaining. I think that's kind of, I like the back and forth aspect. The problem with these and what TNT has to solve, and we've talked about this before with the other, because this is the first one that didn't have pro golfers. What they have to solve for is the biggest challenge in golf coverage, and why golf coverage can be fun is that you have 44 pairs of two or 33, whatever it is. They're all constantly playing the course. So I can go from Jason Ross has an 8-footer on 13. Oh, my God, he made it. That's amazing. Now let's get over to 2. Hey, Jay Mars he just birdied 1. And, Jay with a great drive. Okay, let's go to 17. Carmichael Day is over there looking to put a 62 in the books and getting a, you're bing, 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 bing. There's all this stuff going on. What they have a problem with here, and they try to solve for it, but they haven't gotten there yet, is the time between shots is all filler.
Right.
They gave them
It's
carts.
golf.
It is golf. The carts help because
Yep,
you're
you get
going
there
quicker.
faster.
There's banter and all that, but I don't know what the solve is there. I also thought, I don't know if you stuck around here either, but there was afterwards they played a sit down with Ernie Johnson with all 4 of those guys just BSing and all that. And I thought that was kind of cool.
Okay, I did not see that.
Yeah, they were talking, asked Mahomes and Allen, what Brady and Rodgers meant to them and what they've learned in their conversations. Asked about, did any of you really believe Tom Brady was going to retire? And we just have been informed we have breaking news from the J-Mart Sports Desk.
When it breaks, we have it first. KHTK Breaking News.
From Twitter via Forbes.
This is going to be in an hour. I'm happy to do it now.
This just in.
Yes.
Also my name.
LeBron
James has officially become a billionaire.
Congratulations to LeBron James. Yeah, we'll put this in the news as well. LeBron James was quoted in 2014 saying, "It's my biggest milestone, obviously. I want to maximize my business. If I happen to get it, if I happen to be a billion-dollar athlete, hip-hop hooray." Oh, my God, I am going to be excited.
He said hip-hop hooray in 2014 like it was cool then.
121 million last year.
Woo!
18-time NBA All-Star, 4-time NBA champion, 2-time Olympic gold medalist. Becomes the first active NBA player to become a billionaire. Michael Jordan became a billionaire in 2014.
He's a billion-time $1 guy.
LeBron James moved at least 10 times. Moved at least 10 times between 5 and 8 years old.
That's a lot.
At 9, he moved in with another family until his mom could make ends meet. Over the last 19 years, LeBron has earned approximately $140,000 a day.
That's a lot of ends meet.
It's a lot of ends meted. Matt, meet.
Yeah, to me it meted.
That's from your buddy Darren Ravel.
My buddy.
So congratulations, LeBron James. With Sam Amick at 8, it's a special early edition of Mock the Mocks. We got Bleacher Report with a twist. We'll do it next.
Nope. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, KHTK AM and HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. We are the home for the Kings, Raiders, the NFL, and the A's. We are Sports 1140 KHTK.
Sort of a weird face, kind of unattractive.
Yeah! It's the Carmichael Dave Show.
Come on. Let's wake up.
With Jason Ross.
He is wise.
The only local sports talk show that helps you get through your morning commute. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sports 1140 KHTK.
The Bulls, Sixers, Mavs, Heat, Celtics, Raptors, Lakers, Cavs, Jazz, Warriors, Bucks, Nets. All made either the play-in or the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
Those are the top 13 teams in the NBA in attendance. Only the Blazers and Knicks broke the top 20 when it comes to teams that didn't make the playoffs or play-in that were tops in attendance. Attendance matters. Winning also has a direct correlation to franchise evaluation. Now, you may, of course, remember the Kings were dead last in attendance for 2022. Kings and Pacers, I should say Pacers. Pacers averaged 100 people less. But when you look at total, and that's average, when you look at total, the Kings were effectively dead last. They were 30,000 folks ahead of the Raptors, but the Raptors had heavy COVID restrictions. I say that because I'm looking at, here's another thing. The Spurs, the Bucks, the Suns, the Denver Nuggets, Atlanta Hawks, the Pistons, and the Jazz are amongst 15 teams. Think about some of those markets there that have a lower valuation than the Sacramento Kings.
Oh, wow.
Kings are at number 15. This is as of, there's new updates coming out, and that may change. But it's an interesting article I was reading during the break about how the infusion of what are called SPACs, investment firms, et cetera, being allowed to buy up to 20 and 30% of teams out there, NBA teams for the first time this year. Many of the Kings minority owners cashed out at a nice valuation.
For them.
The business model of the Kings has worked fantastically. Many of those folks that stepped up in 2013 either are watching their investment grow or have sold off for a wonderful profit. Sportical estimates that because of their real estate holdings, amongst other things, the Kings just on that alone make about $40 million per year profit out of real estate and all that other stuff. So it's an interesting conversation when you talk about we all want to see the team win, of course, but also what is the responsibility of the franchise to field a winner? We don't care necessarily about valuation, but it has a direct tie to attendance.
Sure.
And that attendance has a direct tie to the partnership the city created with the Kings back in 2013 to build the arena. So we'll get into that a little bit this summer. I just want to start painting a picture as to why it's more than just, hey, we want to win, why it's more important than just that for the Sacramento Kings to field a winning product. In the meantime, we're mocking the mocks.
Mm-hmm.
Explain to us the twist today.
The twist is, so we've been doing a bunch of different mock drafts, and most of them have had the same three in the top three. We had one the other day that had a twist with a trade,
yes,
and that trade involved the Kings at 4 with the Atlanta Hawks. This one, mock drafts are there for a reason.
Yeah.
For us to react to or to, get an idea of who's being looked at. We took one from Bleacher Report, a reputable site. But, Dave, this is from November of 2021. So basically when the college basketball season is starting. So instead of putting the teams attached, because at that time, we didn't know who would have the worst record and so on and so forth. We just took the order, though, of how they placed their mock draft.
Okay. Well, with that, Adam Silver stepping to the podium.
With the first pick, the Orlando Magic select
Chet Holmgren.
Okay.
Gonzaga.
So way back when, Chet was considered number one. Right now, I think more mock drafts probably would have Jabari Smith at this point, number one. But Chet, every once in a while, we'll see Chet Holmgren number one.
Jay Mars's mock draft has Chet Holmgren slipping no later than 2. no later than
Jay's mock draft.
Yeah,
Okay.
Abso-freaking-lutely. All right, so no big change there. All right, so number 2.
With the second pick, the Oklahoma City Thunder select
Paolo Banchero.
Okay.
Okay, interesting. That has him. I think we have yet to see Paulo go above 3.
Right. And so this is before the season started. This is how highly rated he was.
Yeah, very highly rated. He goes, and I think there was some argument as to whether or not Banchero or Holmgren. I remember when, I again, this is hazy, and I'm sorry to have this stick in my head, but I imagine it will for others. I remember when, wasn't it Banchero and a fellow Duke player were pulled over? I want to say one of them was above the legal limit. It wasn't Krzyzewski's grandson or nephew or something.
I'm not sure.
It was somebody, I want to say, related to Mike Krzyzewski, and I know Jay's looking it up right now. They were pulled over, and the big headline was possible, or maybe it was even probable NBA number 1 pick, Paolo Banchero, pulled over in this, with another guy, blah, 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 blah. So interesting that I would say Banchero's fallen, but
not far.
Not far?
Right.
In the meantime, here's your first twist. Remember, this is Bleacher Report's preseason draft projections. Number 3.
with the third pick, the Houston Rockets select
Jaden Hardy.
Oh,
not Ivy.
Nope.
Jaden Hardy from the G League Unite. Now, all I can tell you is this. What'd I say?
Unite.
The G League Unite.
Oh, I meant Ignite.
Yeah.
I said Unite?
Yeah.
No,
Unite. G
Unite,
League.
G League. Jaden Hardy right now, according to at least one place I'm looking at, is rated as the 10th highest shooting guard.
Oh, gosh.
In the draft.
Yeah.
So that's quite interesting. Jaden Hardy came into the G League season as a potential high lottery pick, but after a subpar start to the season, he fell down draft boards. He did play well over the second half of the year. He's regaining some traction as a late lottery to mid-first round pick. Makes you wonder if he's going to slip to the second round, and some team might have an opportunity to get. You never know. And we've gone through this whole thing with preseason and lottery projection and all that. Two by themselves, Harry Giles and Scalabiciere. Remember,
Right.
we're both heralded in preseasons, coming out of high school, et cetera. That doesn't translate to, you're automatically getting a steal. But now that leaves number 4 in your Sacramento Kings.
with the fourth pick, the Sacramento Kings select
Yannick Zosa from the Congo.
Okay. I have not seen his name on a mock draft.
At all.
Yeah.
Very interesting as to what happened there, where he is, where he's going.
And again, this was in November of 2021, this mock draft.
Yes, 6'11", center. But not in any. It just kind of goes to show you exactly how much things can go up and down. Just what, not crapshoot necessarily, but now you're talking about a guy. I'm looking here, and I don't know how accurate these are now, but seeing his projected as a possible second round pick. It's just amazing. Some other ones of note, Jabari Smith, who now could go as high as number 1.
Yeah, who we've not heard yet.
Was ranked 7th. Jaden Ivey, who seems to be the odds-on favorite to go to Sacramento at 4 right now, at least 14th. Dyson Daniels, who's been climbing draft boards, 16th. And another guy who's pegged in that kind of 6, 7, 8, 9 range, Benedict McThieron at 18th.
So this is, again, movement from before the start of the season, probably some high school rankings, college rankings combined in this where they thought they'd be as professionals. Interesting that Chet and Paolo are there. Jabari was still a lottery guy.
Yeah.
But he's moved way up, and he had a really good freshman season.
So interesting with the Kings having Yannick at 4 there. Do you know where he, I just looked up ESPN's post-combine draft. Care to guess where he's mocked?
40th.
Higher. And by higher, I mean like later.
50th?
Wow.
Later.
Man.
60.
Out of the draft.
Well, there's only 58 picks this year. So
just
56th.
Wow.
To Cleveland.
And he was 4 in the, according to this, again,
in the
it's a mock
November
draft.
2021 bleacher.
You've gone from a possible number 4 pick,
millions of dollars,
high lottery, to you may be a free agent.
Yeah, you may not make
roster.
a team. Yeah,
and those again. If I'm a GM, I'm stocking up on guys like that. I really am. I'm stocking up on guys like that. And yeah, you're gonna have who was the what do they call him? The Brazilian Kevin Durant. He played for us.
Bruno
Caboclo. Yes. You know, listen, for every
he was 1 year away from being 1 year away, or something. Was something of that realm.
For every Draymond Green, for every Nikola Jokic, you're going to get 900 Bruno Caboclo.
Well, I remember you screaming for Bol Bol.
Heck yeah, I still am. And Bol Bol is the exact type of guy where that's what you want to do with a second round pick. Take a high upside guy. And I like Nimi Keita, for example. That's a high upside guy. Project for sure. But a high upside guy. I don't want to take,
You should feel not bad about taking a project in the second round.
No, right. I think that's what the second round is for, unless somebody jumps off the page. But
Rudy Gobert once thought of a project.
Any second rounder that you get to make your team and contribute, you have won big time. And if they don't make your team, it's not the end of the world.
What was the last big second round contributor the Kings had?
Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah.
When we say big, is he the only one? No, Tyus Edney started. He was a second-round pick. Vinny Del Negro was a second-round pick.
Wasn't there somebody else more recent that got some run with us that was a second? I want to say like in the last 5 or 6 years.
Mason?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Frank got in there.
Yeah, Frank got PT.
Man, a lot of us thought Frank was going to coming out of Kansas.
Player of the year.
Player of the year. Wanted to come here. The match made in heaven. Is Frank in the league?
I don't believe so.
He was on a roster this year.
Was he on the Bucks?
Yeah, that wasn't this year, but he was on a roster this year. Let me look it up.
It's just always so amazing, again, the crapshoot that it is, and the fact that they're doing their best, but it's like, how did anyone know Nikola Jokic?
Right.
Like, how did a 2-time MVP, the 2-time reigning MVP, slip past 30 teams, some of them twice?
Especially when we talk about, like, okay, if you already got something, why would you draft something? Like, they had Nurkic, and I remember that being an early problem in Denver. Nurkic or Jokic. Like, what are we going to do here? And obviously they made the right decision.
Jason was correct. Frank Mason did not play in the league this year. He played in the league last year.
Told you that.
This year he played, though, in the G League for 2 teams. The South Bay Lakers, who then traded him to the Wisconsin Herd.
Oh, man.
The Wisconsin.
In exchange for Tremont Waters.
Oh.
And a 2022 second-round pick in the G League draft.
Oh, you were gone, by the way, when Bobby, and I don't know what I'm talking about, second-round pick. But you were gone when Bobby Jackson came in, and
had a bad word
Jay
on the
tried
radio.
to blow me up on. No, we didn't talk about this when Jay tried to blow me
No,
up.
Jay didn't try. Jay did.
Jay completely threw me under the bus with my Mateen Cleaves theory. Like when I said he's like the best towel waver of all time, and Jay thought it was disrespectful. And I was like, no. And I was trying to pitch a case to Bobby. I was like, no. I mean, he's the most like into it guy who didn't get a lot of run and was like a great teammate and all that. Bobby, like I could tell he was like trying to see my side, but I could also tell he was like, man, that's tough. Like, God, you can't say.
I presented it to Bobby this way, Jason. I said, at the end of your career, if somebody said, yeah, that Bobby Jackson, best towel waver in the NBA, how would you have taken it?
He didn't like it.
No.
I need to have an off-air conversation with Mateen Cleaves, make sure he agrees with me, and then bring him on the show.
Good luck with that.
I don't want to do that live.
Yeah.
It just sounds so bad out of context. Mateen Cleaves is the best towel. That sounds like you're ripping Mateen Cleaves.
It does.
And I truly mean it as like more teams need people that just because you're not on the floor doesn't mean you're not engaged. You're up there. You're rooting for your teammates. You're like a good teammate. It's like in my head, it's 100% a compliment. But then when it comes out, it's like disrespectful. And I don't mean an ounce of disrespect. Like OpenDoor.com will never disrespect your time whatsoever. I've been to Open Door. I've been going to Open Door for years because I am a homeowner, because I'm always interested in what I could sell my house for and how long it might take for me to sell my house. I go to OpenDoor.com. Imagine if you could sell your house the moment you got that dream job halfway across the country. Imagine if you got a new baby or a new job, whatever it may be. You got to upsize, you got to downsize. Imagine you got to... Well, don't imagine this, but you move in your in-laws. You got to get more, whatever it is. Life's full of opportunities, and selling your house should not keep you from them. Hundreds of thousands have done this same thing. You go to opendoor.com, you enter your address, you tell them a little about your house, they'll make you an offer in minutes. They look at your house, they look at comps, they make you, these are real offers. And you don't have to do prep work, you don't have to do repairs, you don't have to schedule showings, you don't have to have a realtor moving all your stuff around and telling you your curtains are ugly. Get a free offer at opendoor.com/myoffer. Takes a couple minutes, literally like a couple minutes. Opendoor.com/myoffer. Offer eligibility varies. Open Door is represented by Open Door Brokerage Inc. License 020611130 in California and Open Door Brokerage LLC in its other markets. All right, let's get to it right now. 3 for Madness with Jay Mars. I said 3 for Madness.
3 questions
with Jay Mars.
3 answers. It's 3 for Madness on the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Question 1.
Hi.
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 This is a fun one.
Is it?
Let's just get right into this.
Okay.
If you, right, you out there, could create your own version of The Match.
The Match.
What 4 people would you put together on the golf course?
Tiger Woods. I would just love to walk around and see Tiger Woods play golf. You know what I'm saying? And pepper him with questions. Are we assuming in this question, by the way, that we get to ask them things?
No, you don't get to go with the foursome. You have to watch them on TV.
I thought it was
creating
like
the match.
I thought it was like
You're not
I
special.
thought we were playing in it.
No.
I thought this was one of those, like, if you could have dinner with.
No.
Oh, I misunderstood the whole point.
We need you to be the head of a broadcast network and come up with a foursome that people are going to want to watch.
Can Johnny Depp play golf?
Yes.
Jason, why don't you go first? Because I got to rethink now.
Well, I still think I had Tiger in there.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, because I want to see someone who could play.
Right.
I think there's interest because I did like it when it had a player, a golfer with a quarterback. Basically, is what we've had with Peyton Manning and Brady before with Phil Mickelson. And,
yeah.
So I would have Tiger. But I think I do think Charles is really entertaining. And I think those two, I just think the byplay would be good. And you'd also get the humor of Charles not being so great. So I'd have those two. I then think you need to have be impressed by someone. So I'm trying to think of some other people that are good out at Edgewood that are entertaining athletes. I think MJ's pretty good. He's not great.
But like Steph
would be good.
Tony
And
Romo.
Would he talk? I think you need someone that would be, well, Steph's, I think, very likable.
Yeah.
That'd be a good one.
Okay.
Got to round out my group.
I need a fourth too. I've got 3.
Okay.
Tiger, Jordan, Barkley.
Okay.
Why are you guys just staying with athletes?
Well,
what were you thinking?
Yeah, what do you think?
Oh, I was going to have Will Smith and Chris Rock as my first 2.
But they're going to make up and whatever, and it's going to be cool.
Or
Golf
are
is just
they?
And
boring.
the golf would be terrible.
That's the point.
Oh, Carol. Yeah. Who would be the fourth you'd put in with Tiger, Barkley, and Jordan?
Dolly Parton.
No.
Why not?
Oh.
I just don't think Dolly Parton's a great trash talker. I mean, Jolene was a great song, but there's got to be
I just had a terrible one, I think. I'm going to say it.
Okay.
It came to my head. OJ?
Jason?
I mean, honestly.
Ross.
I understand where he's going.
Oh, so
I understand where he's going on that. It's terrible, but
I love you start with ratings.
Yeah, I mean,
well,
you're trying. You said you're a TV
I'm
executive.
TV executive.
You're trying to put it together.
Is there a morality clause?
No.
Someone said Marshawn Lynch, and I agree with that. Marshawn
that's
needs to be
actually.
on there.
You know what?
I don't know if he can golf, but he would be great.
He would be a wonderful.
I feel like if he couldn't golf, that would make it that much better.
Barkley, Jordan.
I guess Barkley's
Tiger.
not a great golfer. So
Would
yeah.
we like Vince Carter? I'm trying to think of
Vince Carter.
I'm trying to think of somebody who's like fun and.
That's what came to mind.
Oh, I got it. Barkley, Tiger, Jordan, and Mateen Cleaves. What's up? Just
Shaq's
golf.
fun.
Oh, let me guess. Mateen's the caddy for one of them?
No, I was thinking golf towels, but yes, Mateen's fun. He's a fun guy.
They were talking about Shaq yesterday.
Oh,
Yeah,
Shaq
he doesn't, but he's fun.
Does he play golf?
I don't think he does.
Didn't Charles call him an idiot?
Yeah, well, he called him many things yesterday.
All right, number 2.
Question 2.
That question went terribly wrong. Hopefully this one goes better. Mike Trout isn't sure if he'll be the football commissioner in the Slappy Fantasy League next year.
Slappy
Commish, the worst job ever.
Yeah, it's so lame, dude, being a commissioner because everybody's just, all these grown men are just whining. Oh, like my fantasy sports participation has shrunk so much over the last few years. It was something I'd done since I was like 12. And now it's just people.
Now you garden.
Yeah, it's just people get older and they just get so whiny about stuff, dude. And you saw it with Tommy Pham and
Jock Peterson.
Not really Jock Peterson, though. I don't know what he did wrong. They just sent a couple of gifts.
I think he abused the IR, according to Tommy Pham.
But everybody else said he didn't. Like, it's dumb. And I think that the commissioner should get 10%. I've always felt this. If you're the commissioner of the league, your entry fee should be free.
You know what? That's really fair because it is such a
It's garbage. And
like,
then nobody wants to do it.
Do you guys actively know someone in any league you play in, or if it's you, that wants to be commissioner that's like, yo, that's me, that's my gig?
Back in the day, yes, in our group, we used to rotate who was commissioner because it was like, okay, I'm in charge now. We're going to have this be a good league.
No,
Not anymore.
Actively
No.
dies to do that job.
But
Jason?
I do this with Jason. With Jason, I have this conversation every year because Jason runs our Just for Fun March Madness school.
But that's easy in the sense there's no picking. There's no rules. Like it's the same every year.
Still a lot of work.
Yeah.
I've always said your entry. I think not one person would object to your entry being free. But Jason,
that's exactly what I said.
That's exactly what you said.
I can think back to, and you probably had this too, Dave, where if you were a commissioner like way back when, doing stuff like by hand, like adding things, going to the paper, like baseball scores or whatever it was, or football.
Yes.
Like, okay, touchdowns were this 6 plus 13 plus they got 44 rushing
100%.
yards. Blah blah blah. I mean, that was actual work. Now everything's done on computer.
Early days of our baseball league, my buddy Willie, Brett, Sean, and Chris. We used to stay up all night Saturday nights. Every Saturday night, we'd be up all night. We'd go to, we'd hang out at the pizza place till they closed, and then we'd head over to Lions on Marconi and Fair Oaks, and we'd drink coffee and eat saltines with ranch dressing because it was a quarter for a side of ranch, and we didn't have any money. And then we'd all pile into Willie's car, which just smelled horribly. And we would roll down to his parents' machine shop downtown where they had a computer. One of those computers, remember, with like the green letters? Oh, yeah. Okay.
At the machine shop.
Yeah. And the Sunday B would come out. And in the Sunday B, they would have all full team baseball stats. Right. So we would take turns reading them off to Willie, who would enter them all into
that magic box.
And then he would turn off the monitor. And he'd hit enter, and I think it was F8, so nobody could see. And it would come up, and it would print. And then one person, we changed every week, would read off from bottom to top who was in first place. Here was the best part. The way we used to score it, it was cumulative on your team. So if I was, let's say, 13 points out of first place in stolen bases, which would have been 10 points towards my overall score, if I trade with Jay for a guy who has 10 or more stolen bases than the guy I'm trading, I get all those stolen bases now, and you could actually do mathematics to figure out what a trade would do to you in the standings.
I feel like you telling that story is how my grandfather used to talk about.
And then we had a Werner's Original.
Depression.
And then we take our cane fishing
the
poles.
Machine shop.
Yeah.
The machine
with
shop.
saltines and ranch.
They had electricity.
Number 3.
Question 3.
Let me start with saying R.I.P. to Marion Barber III, former Cowboy Bears running back. The AP and ABC posted a story about his death and included the fact that he rushed for a lot of touchdowns but never 1,000 yards. Is that ever okay to do?
No. What was it Schefter did with Dwayne Haskins? Dwayne Haskins was killed by a car. He's like, Dwayne Haskins, who struggled for years
to make his way in the league or something like that.
Bro, he died. We don't care about whatever athletic, and I use air quotes here, athletic struggles. I use air quotes because Marion Barber and Dwayne Haskins were in the top 0.00005 percentile of people at their position in the world. Like, let's be real here. You made it professionally. You're really, really good. ABC tweeted this out, but they were aggregating an AP Wire story, which somebody put that thought in there. It said he scored plenty of touchdowns without recording a 1,000-yard season and has died. What?
Yeah.
It's just...
What's the story is that he died, which is tragic. It's awful. It's the only thing you have.
Right.
And by the way, he was an athlete. He was an incredible, to make it to the NFL.
Played 7 seasons here, there.
Survived by this, aged this, played X many years.
It's not really sure that he didn't break 1,000 yards matters in that context, guys.
And if there's accolades, a 2-time MVP, 3 Super Bowl, whatever that you can throw in.
Memo to the B. In 10 to 15 years, when I die, I do not want my obituary to read, local radio guy Carmichael Dave, who never quite hit number 1 in the ratings books, has passed away. He leaves his wife and 2 children and God knows how. Like, in any aspect, whether it's a dummy like me, an athlete, anyone, Billy Ocean has passed away, only had 3 number 1 hits. Like, common sense.
Yep.
Have some, have a conscience. Read the room. Read the room. Like American Energy does. They read the room for you for just $49. They'll tune up your AC and your furnace. I had this just under 2 weeks ago. A guy from American Energy, Michael, came out, put on his little booties, rolled into the house. It was so nice. Just rolled right in, knew where everything was, did everything. He was there maybe an hour, 2 hours for $50. He was there like 2 hours. Checked on everything, cleaned out my filters, my air conditioner. Said, hey, you know what? You should get these different types of filters. I'll write them down for you. And I'll even show you how to put them in if you want to, or just call us out. It's cheap. It's the type of service you want. You know what he didn't do? He didn't say, hey, your air conditioner's flux capacitor is only going to 1.20 gigawatts, and we need to replace it. I highly suggest we replace it. It's going to be $11,000. They're not pushing stuff on you. They're local, A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau since 1981. There's a reason for that. Because they don't just want your business now, they want it later. They want you to keep everything working properly, but when there's an issue, they want you to feel comfortable calling them. 916-520-9990. 916-520-9990. Right now, $49 air conditioner tune-up and get a free indoor air quality test. That's it. AmericanEnergyAir.com. AmericanEnergyAir.com. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you. With the finals starting tonight, let's look at the finals of this millennium. Starting with the 2000s. We'll do that next.
Sports 1140. 1140. KHTK.
Suffering from ED.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Sports 1140 KHTK.
Sam Amick will join us in a half an hour. Breaking news. I think I told you guys this earlier. Pulled my first 3 zucchinis out of the garden yesterday. Going to eat them tonight.
Nice.
And I don't know what I'm going to do. Part of me is like, I want to do something awesome but most of the awesome dishes with zucchini basically cover up the zucchini so much that you can't really taste it. So there's a part of me that's like, these are garden fresh zucchini. I want to taste it. I don't want to boil them into zoodles.
Right.
I don't want to make a zucchini.
You want to enjoy them in their essence.
I want to enjoy them in their essence. So what am I doing? Am I steaming them? Am I pan frying them even? Just maybe some salt and pepper.
Salt, pepper, garlic powder. There you go. That's all you need.
But then I'm also going, you know what? We have 3 huge zucchinis, and we're going to have one of them with dinner tonight. God knows what the other 2 are going to do, and I got like 6 more on deck. And I'm thinking, zucchini is like 80 cents at the store. What am I doing? Like, why did I just spend I planted the zucchini, I watered it, I talked to it sometimes. Hey, look at you, you're flowering. Good job. Like, I really do. And,
good job, good effort.
Yeah, good job, good effort, zucchini. And then you grab it, and you're like, okay, well, why didn't I can just go to the store.
You grew it. You did it. You're proud of yourself.
Is that what it is? Is it just I created this?
I live off the land.
I live off the land. I shall eat zucchini and tomatoes all summer long. I don't know. Tomatoes, I guess. I don't know. Like, I feel like tomatoes are far more, you can do salsas, and, sandwiches.
Right.
All kinds of stuff. Anyways, I don't know. I'll let you know. You like zucchini?
I do.
I'll bring you a zucchini.
Okay.
I'm going to have a fresh zucchini. I want to be one of those guys that, like, brings produce to work. It's like, hey, it's from my garden.
Right.
The NBA Finals start tonight. And let's focus on the 2000s.
Yeah, because yesterday we did the 80s. We did the 90s.
The 2000s.
Okay.
A lot of Lakers in there.
Yeah, and this is honestly, I mean, we know what 2002, probably 02 and 03, I think were the best 2 years of the Kings. 01, they were good. 04, they still had some chances there. But this is where it's tough because the Kings were in the mix here.
Yeah, they were. And Shaq and Kobe wanted a lot.
Yes, they did. Or the Lakers overall, right? They had the 3 in the row and 2 at the back end of I guess we can't count 2010, but 08, 09 they did.
Yeah, you had 1, 2, and 3. They beat remember the Lakers and Pacers, coached by Larry Bird. In fact, I think it might be 2000 and 2001 might be the first time ever that different coaches named Larry coached back. You had Larry Bird followed by Larry Brown. I don't think that's ever happened before.
Probably not.
Larry O'Brien either. You had the Byron Scott coached New Jersey Nets go 2 years in a row. Obviously, the Lakers swept the Nets in 2002, and that's the one we always remember. Nets actually made it back to next year. The Lakers did not, and that was the Spurs' second title under Greg Popovich. So you went Lakers, 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 Spurs, Lakers, Spurs, and then you had probably... Yeah, Spurs. Then you had the Heat,
the
Celtics, the Lakers. And now do we count 2000? You can't count 2000 and 2010. So which one? We count 2000 through 2009, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So the Lakers still have 4.
Yes.
In the decade.
Lakers had 4. So the Lakers are the team of the 2000s.
It also felt like that was the time as well, didn't it, where the West was clearly better?
Yes.
I know there's 3 championships there for the East, but it just felt like top to bottom. There were a lot of good teams in the West. Like Dallas was good in that time. The Spurs were always good. Lakers, we mentioned the early part of the 2000s. The Kings were good. Minnesota was their best run in there. There were some really good teams in the NBA, and a lot of them were in the West.
And throughout the entire, if we're not counting 2009, there was only one series that went to 7 games, and that was the Spurs and Pistons in 2005. That one went to 7. That was Detroit coming off their championship year against the Lakers, which for me, I think it maybe in my lifetime, certainly in that decade, I think was the most interesting finals when the Pistons beat not only the Pistons beat the Lakers, they beat them in 5.
Yeah, and if I remember right, didn't the Lakers win game 1?
I
feel like they did because they were heavy favorites, and I felt like they won game 1. I was like, well, this isn't really even going to be interesting. And that was the Malone, Peyton. It was like everybody thought it was unfair to go with Shaq and Kobe. And I believe they won game 1. I could be wrong, but then the Pistons still, regardless, to win in 5 is amazing.
That was the year, I've mentioned this before, that was the year that let me see here, game 1, the Pistons won in L.A. 87-75.
Then maybe it was 1-1?
Then it was 1-1.
Okay.
Lakers won game 2.
What was the score of game 1?
Game 1 was 87-75. Pistons over the Lakers. Game 2 was 99-91 Lakers. Game 3 was 88-68 Pistons. Game 4, 88-80 Pistons.
What is happening here?
And the one game we hit triple digits. Game 5, the Pistons 100, the Lakers 87.
So one team scored 100 points in that final.
It was literally one.
And I think we have 2 good defenses in this final. Yeah. I think they're getting 100 every night.
Both teams are going to get 100? Disagree.
Okay.
I disagree. I think we're going to see.
But not 80s.
No.
I don't think.
I mean, unless there's one of those weird, like when.
Shot 24%.
Yeah. Like when the Warriors Grizzlies, I want to say, was that game.
Yeah, I think there was a weird
That was the one they just got. That was when everyone was like, we've hired Mike Brown. That one was weird. The Shaq Kobe Lakers were definitely the team of the decade.
Yes.
The Spurs got 3 in there. Are the Spurs are never going to be a forgotten dynasty, but Spurs the least dramatic, most boring dynasty, and I say that with respect.
Right, I think so, because if you just go to their stars, like at that time, it's Duncan, Parker, Ginobili. I don't think there's either a lot of controversy or flair about any of those guys.
There's no flair.
Right.
They just went out. They just went out and did their thing.
Yeah.
You had a Miami Heat title in 2006 under Pat Riley. Remember when Pat Riley used to coach?
Yes.
Pat Riley's second to Jerry West all time when it comes to executive coach, the dual role type of thing.
He might be first.
Do you think he's ahead of Jerry?
Well, I just think about his total.
Take away the playing career, yeah.
His career is how successful Pat Riley is in everything he's done.
Yeah,
is amazing.
My issue there is that Jerry West built 2 separate Laker dynasties. Really helped build the Warriors dynasty.
Pat coached one of those Lakers dynasties, though.
He did.
And then what he's done in Miami over the last 25 years, you have to combine both as a coach and an executive because he's such a better coach than Jerry West ever was.
But Jerry West was such a better player than Pat Riley was if we're going all encompassing.
But if you just look at them from head coach front office.
You're just looking at executives. Yeah.
You could argue Pat Riley's better than Jerry West at this point.
I just love the way for me for Riley, it's the Lakers like Showtime to completely downshift and be the Knicks. Physical, like that's playing to your team, and I think that's a lot of coaches don't do that. He did that, and then Miami's kind of probably a hybrid. He's been really good.
He's been extremely good. I'll give you Jerry West. Jerry West gave you the 2 separate dynasties. Jerry West is the one that traded Vlade Divac for Kobe Bryant.
Mm-hmm.
Then he moved on. A lot of people forget this. He moved on to Memphis, which wasn't L.A., but the Grizzlies were about to get sold. And this was the Pau Gasol, James Posey, Jay Will, Hubie Brown, who was coach of the year in 2004, won an executive of the year there. And then in 2011, he joined the Warriors, reporting directly to Lacob and Goober, the 2 owners. And they went on the run. Now, West deserves the least amount of credit for the Golden State Warriors stint, I think. It's a really good conversation.
Yeah, I think so.
They've both been, Pat Riley, and talk about you basically spent a little over half of your time in Los Angeles with your slicked back hair. And then where do you go? Miami.
Yeah.
With a stint in New York.
Yeah, but successful everywhere.
And has been active for 41 years. Pat Riley. Let me back up a second because I want to get this number here. Pat Riley, 77. Jerry West, 84. Pat Riley, though, 77.
I can't even fathom that Pat Riley is almost 80 years old.
That's ridiculous, dude.
Like, I just will always see him as the coach of the Lakers with the slicked back hair, even after all these years.
And didn't he held on to he held on to the natural hair color for a while. I'm pretty sure, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. I feel like when he was coaching that Miami team in 06, he still had it.
I think so. He went. It was the Bob Barker thing. Like, he was gone for a summer and came back and was gray.
Yeah.
And Barker did the same thing on Price is Right. I'll never forget when Price is Right came out. I was like, oh, my God, he's all gray. My mom was like, yeah. That's because he was rubbing stuff in his hair. Oh, okay. We'll take a break. Let's move on to the 2010s, including team, player, and coach of the decade before we get to Sam Amick at 8. We'll do that next.
Nobody's through your morning commute. On Sports 1140 KHTK.
May 18, 2018, Bleacher Report tweeted out some highlights from CSKA Moscow and Real Madrid. And the headline is potential number one pick Luka Doncic led Real Madrid to the EuroLeague final with 16 points and 7 boards. Just to make you all feel better or worse about the upcoming NBA draft, I was busy reading some of the replies. Dan said, I've never seen this dude do anything that would make me see him as number one pick. Henry said, he's going to be horrible. Ryan McDonough and the Suns would be idiots to take this kid. Take either Ayton or someone like Zaire Smith from Texas Tech. He did say take Jalen Brunson, though. Donna said, and zero defense. Why have I not heard a single NBA analyst mention that this Luka dude plays no defense? He didn't even try. He'll be eaten alive in the NBA. Will he be a bum like most overseas players? I mean, it's
that's not aging well.
It's dominant. I'm going to retweet this just because the comments are fantastic. And listen, we've all been there.
Yeah. For sure.
This isn't this isn't dunking on people just to dunk on them. It's really just to illustrate the point that you have 30 executives, each with probably, when you take into account scouts and the remainder of the front office, I'd say the average NBA front office, again counting scouts, is what, Jason? Probably 12 to 14?
Yeah, probably, if not more, but whatever. Yeah.
300 to 350 people, many of which have either played professional basketball, Harvard grads. I mean, you're talking smart people that they don't watch March Madness and 20 minutes of college basketball.
Right.
They're flying all over the world. They're watching these guys play in college in person multiple times.
Yeah.
They're going to Europe.
Talking to them, getting intel, other coaches.
All this.
Yeah.
And they still miss. I was just going to say they still miss as much as they hit. I don't know. Would you say if we went through every draft over the last 25 years and we graded them overperforming, performing at expectation, or underperforming? I wonder if underperforming would lead the way throughout all the picks.
I feel like it would, but I think it's really tough to grade that. I know what you mean. Like if someone goes 2 and they don't play that level, okay, that's underperforming. That's clear. But, how do you measure a 17th pick where it's like, yeah, they kind of play. Like I think that some of it would be tough grading, but I think we'd have some clear answers.
I know how you'd measure it, and it wouldn't be exact, but what you do is you'd do a redraft of every year.
And where does the player,
and then where did the player go? And then you give them, if the 5 pick would have been picked, like Tyrese Halliburton, overperforming.
Yeah. If it goes plus 2 or 3 or more, it's a overperform.
Right. Maybe you assign points based on draft. I don't know. That's why it's even at the higher levels. Yes, the higher you pick, especially when you get in the top 10, the more likely you are to get an all-star, generational player, a superstar, etc. The more, not always, Jokic, but the more likely. And we just got done talking about greats. Pat Riley, Jerry West. Somebody during the break actually mentioned Red Auerbach, who you got to put that in there too, both as a coach and executive. Pete D'Alessandro. I mean, the list of amazing executives is off the hook. And
same list.
How many of them have missed? How many of them have missed? Anyways, I was just kidding, by the way, about Red Auerbach.
Yeah, I know.
2010s. All right, so we start out with the Lakers.
I would say, by the way, this 10-year stretch, much better finals than the previous 10 years.
Let's see.
Some really good finals in that from 2010 to 2019.
We had one Game 7 in the entire decade, 2000 to 2009. We start out in 2010, Lakers-Celtics with a 7-game series. 6-game series, Mavs and Heat. That was the Mavs victory. That was like, you kind of had the Detroit Pistons in the 2000s.
Yeah.
This was kind of the... I guess the Raptors could make an argument with the Mavs, but I really feel like the Mavs going against that Miami Heat team. That team that
was year one of the Heatles.
That was year one of the Heatles. They won the next 2. And they made 4 straight finals. Right. They lost their chance to go 3 in a row. But yeah, you had a 6-game series, a 5, a 7, a 5, a 6, a 7, on and on and on.
You know what's going to be interesting? I think it's a forgotten finals, but 2012, I mean, it goes 5 games. Miami gets their first one. It's LeBron's first one. But the star power with the Heatles, right? Bosh, Wade, LeBron. And then you have Harden, Westbrook and Durant.
And Ibaka. I mean, I always want to throw Ibaka in there for some reason.
I mean, that's... I think the games were close. I don't think it was as lopsided as 4-1, but, I mean, it was 4-1.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You had 6 Hall of Famers in their prime. 6 of your 10 starters were prime. You could argue Ray Allen was getting towards the end there. But LeBron, Dwayne Wade, Ray Allen, and then you have
Bosh.
Oh, God, I forgot about Bosh. 4, 7.
Yeah, Harden may not have quite been there yet.
Yeah, you're right.
But still, he was coming off
you're right.
Whatever.
You're right about Harden.
On his way to becoming great, though.
7 guys. And that wow.
Yeah.
Warriors team of the decade? It's not the Heat, right?
No. I mean, and the other choice would be the Cavs, but the Cavs lost to the Warriors 3 of the 4 times, so
the 2006.
I feel like LeBron's the player of the decade,
for sure,
no doubt.
For sure.
I mean, just the amount of times he got there.
For sure, LeBron is the player of the decade. For sure, no doubt about it. LeBron's teams in the decade made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 out of the 10 finals.
And 8 in a row.
That's ridiculous.
Where, that's where you get back to the argument of, and I get it when people go, Jordan, 6 times the finals, 6-0. Well, if you're basing it on record in the finals, that's almost impossible to beat.
Right.
8 in a row is incredible.
Yeah.
And he gets knocked. I get it for losing the finals, but when you go 6-0 as your only benchmark, I would say for Jordan, or like they would do with Montana,
right?
You're not penalized. So a conference final loss doesn't really count against them.
No.
Like when they'll do that to Brady. Well, he's won, a bunch, but look at all the Super Bowls he lost. Well, he got to more than anybody, and I don't know. It's really difficult to win the whole thing.
What is it fair for me to say that LeBron James led 3 different teams to world championships?
Yeah.
Well, excuse me. I apologize. Is it fair for me to say that LeBron James led 4 different teams? Because he led 2 different iterations of the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Oh, okay. Now, they didn't win a championship the first time, but he led them to the finals.
Led them to the finals, excuse me.
Right.
That's ridiculous.
Yes. Yeah, completely different team the second time.
Kawhi in Toronto. We said Toronto and Dallas were kind of the randos.
Yeah,
of that.
and I don't think Toronto wins without the Warrior injuries. I don't.
Completely agree. And
that still counts.
It still counts, and that's no disrespect to Toronto. Right. It was cool to see them win one. I want to say, though, that decade, for me, probably, if I'm being fair, had the best finals of my lifetime.
Is it 2016?
The Cavs comeback.
That one, I thought that Ray Allen shot Game 6 to force a 7 and Miami beating
would be second for sure.
I mean, there's some really good finals in that decade.
And you could argue I don't know, that 3-1, just watching that was LeBron at the height of his powers.
Mm-hmm.
The block from behind, everything that he did. Not that he didn't have teammates, but dude.
Yeah.
LeBron was an absolute unstoppable force.
Yeah.
I don't, this is an opportunity as we go into tonight. Steph Curry is not LeBron James.
Yeah.
But Steph Curry is going to go down almost certainly as a top 10 player of all time.
Yeah. There's a moment in that I still wish now happened, now that the Cavs won that 3-1 comeback. I don't know if you remember this day, but like everything's talked about is the shot by Kyrie, the block by LeBron, and then the stop by Kevin Love, I guess.
Right.
But right after that, I think there was, and it might have been a 3 or 4 point game, or I guess it was 3. LeBron went in to have like a iconic dunk of all time in the final. Like it would have been the move that's shown forever in that finals. And basically we get LeBron's block, which is still great.
Right.
But Draymond fouled him.
Yeah.
And LeBron made a free throw. And it kind of just ended. But like if he did that, like I think that's one that's shown for 50 years.
And now he's a billionaire.
Yes.
First ever active player to be a billionaire. Well, maybe y'all aren't billionaires out there. Maybe you're using your home to be a big part of that nest egg. You know, maybe you have your 401k, you got your home, a couple of little investments, whatever, and you're thinking about taking the spouse and doing a cruise around the world someday when you're done. You see the light at the end of your working tunnel, and your home is a big part of that. Maybe you're just starting out or you're catching up and you want that home so that you can begin to have that nest egg. Owning a home gives you such a leg up on so many things. It gives you a line of equity to tap. It gives you tax benefits, on and on and on. You want to get into a home. You want to purchase a house in this competitive market. Shelby is your guy. RefinanceWithShelby.com. Really, the whole team over at United Wholesale Lending, they know what they're doing. They have a great reputation here in town. And reputation matters. I say it all the time. Why would you want to trust your house to somebody in Southern California, in Texas, in Florida, in Ohio? A big company out there. They don't know you. You don't have mutual friends. If they screw you over, you're not going to run into them in a Chevy's. Think about that. The reason why they're so successful over there with Shelby and his company is because they're your neighbors. Their kids go to school with your kids. They want your repeat business. They're going to get you a good deal. Check it out for yourself. In under 15 minutes without running your credit, you can get pre-qualified over the phone with Shelby at RefinanceWithShelby.com. That's RefinanceWithShelby.com. NMLS number 279051. BRE number 01864354. We'll take a break. When we come back, Sam Amick of The Athletic is next.
Sports 1140 KHTK.
Bend.
KHTK AM and HD1 Sacramento. KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios. We are Sports 1140 KHTK.
Sort of a weird face, kind of unattractive.
Yeah. It's the Carmichael Dave Show.
Come on. Let's wake up.
With Jason Ross.
He is wise.
The only local sports talk show that helps you get through your morning commute. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sports 1140 KHTK.
It's a sign of a good show, having Sam on, and I'm like, God, is there anything Kingsy to ask him?
With the final starting tonight.
All right, like he's got like a whole, he's doing a bunch of final stuff. But like, obviously we're local. We always want to get Sam's take on things. And by the way, our apologies to Sam. We missed him last week. I say this because I'm looking at Jay, who does not look like he's getting an answer and calling Sam. Maybe this is Sam's revenge, because last week we had G-Man in.
All right.
I completely spaced that was Sam Day. Not Sunday, but Sam Day. And Sam said, hey, we're not doing Jay Mars was supposed to call him and tell him that.
Oh, you're putting it on Jay?
Yeah, 100% threw Jay under the bus. Wow, it says Sam Amick has notification silence. I'm going to do it in all caps. Hey, Sam.
Where you at?
I'm going to do that. Where are you at?
You know what I wanted to ask Sam, and if we do get him, we'll see. We've all done this, our profession, so long now, Dave. It's great. I mean, there's so many great perks, but think about the first time Sam covered a final. Like, that's so exciting. Yes. And I don't want to say it's been there, but he has. He's done a lot of them now. And I don't know if he, like, does he have the same kind of feels tonight if he's going, and I'm assuming he's going to the game? Does he have that same kind of feeling?
There's no way.
It can't be the same.
I can't imagine it's within 20%.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not saying he doesn't get excited, but let me ask you, like, you remember when you first started getting credentialed to go to Kings games, and they gave you it was the wood thing, and the stone. We got credentialed.
Right.
But now, I'm not saying you don't appreciate your job. I'm not saying it doesn't excite you and all that, but you've walked
There are special games, though.
Sure.
And I think without that, I mean, honestly, if the Kings made it, it would be amazing. But let's pretend in a dream world, the Kings are doing what the Warriors are. Going for the sixth time in 8 years, we would all still be excited. But the sixth time, like, okay, by that time you and your family had been to 15 finals games.
Yes. Are
you tired of it? No. But the first one is out of this world. Or the one that won him a champion, whatever that, there'll be a moment that you'll reference forever. But it's not been there, done that, but it is a little bit.
Was the time we lost to the Sonics in the playoffs, was that the second round?
No.
First round?
Mm-hmm.
I remember
2005.
I remember 2005 was the year before I got the night show. We lost to the Sonics in the first round. And I remember thinking as a Kings fan how much of a failure it was. Like, it was just despicable. It was gross. Like, how could we do that? Like, that's just what a failure of a franchise, blah, 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 blah. And now it's like, oh, my God. Like, the Sonics aren't even around for us to lose in them.
Right.
But losing to anyone.
You take a sweep.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
In a heartbeat. You naturally, people talk about like how Giants fans or Dodger fans or Yankee fans or whatever, like, oh, well, as Boston fans especially, oh, yeah, you guys are spoiled. And those fan bases get all up in arms, but it's like, yeah, dude, I waited my whole life for a San Francisco Giants World Series, and we finally got it in 2010. The third one was not as exciting as the first. I jumped up and down. I was super excited. I hugged people. I had friends over. I did the whole thing. It wasn't as exciting as the first one. The first one, I was near tears. I was thinking about Will Clark and Jeff Leonard and Kevin Mitchell and Greg Minton and all the old school Giants I grew up with that sucked half the time. Those teams did. I remembered Hank Greenwald and Ron Fairley calling the 87 and 89 NL West titles and how freaked out I was listening on the radio to KMBR. The third title was not as exciting. And I have news for Kings fans. I don't think it's news to them. I think most of them, if they're being honest, would agree. If the Kings win 3 out of the next 10 titles, year 3 is going to be nothing like year 1.
Right.
It's going to be awesome.
Right.
Nothing like year one.
Yeah, and which is kind of refreshing to hear the stuff leading up to tonight's game one from the Warriors because of where they haven't had years of torture, but the last two have been difficult.
Yeah.
Including 2 years ago where, they won 15 games.
Yeah.
So I get the sense that they are truly appreciating this. Now, will it mean more to Steph, Draymond, and Clay than the first one? I don't know, but Clay's in a pretty special place.
Yes.
For being out for 2 years. Like, every time they advance, it looks like he is about as happy as – and I'm sure in his mind he's like, man, remember those hours I couldn't walk or going through the most painful rehab or I think I'm going to make it or some people not just the doubts that he had. And then to be here in these moments, I think he's really appreciating this run. And certainly if this group of Celtics, they've got the history behind them, but not these guys. These guys will go nuts if they win.
Well, and the thing is, you bring up such a great point with Clay. There was a point, I'm sure. I mean, again, like this is so stupid, but I'm trying to make the point. But please realize I understand how stupid I'm being. I'm trying to underline your point about Clay. My wife's knee surgery a few months ago. Like, I've been with her the whole time.
Right.
Like, I see the depths of it, the tears and the, am I ever going to be normal again? Am I ever going to do this? Everything's super difficult. Now, listen, she's not a professional athlete, number one. Number two, she doesn't have a team of people around her like Klay Thompson who's rich for the rest. I understand the difficulties, but I'm also here to say that I guarantee you there was a part, especially after the second devastating injury, where Klay was sitting in no TV cameras, no coaches, no trainers. He's sitting at home playing video games or just in a dark room with a wrapped up leg going, am I ever is this it?
Right.
And there were a lot of dark hours like that for Klay Thompson.
And that's why I still don't know that people appreciate that enough. Like what Tiger went through. Like Tiger nearly had his leg amputated. And it's like, it's just golf. He's just okay, sure. Your golf is just my golf, like people's golf.
Right.
But he's trying to compete with the best people in the world.
And on an almost amputated leg.
Yeah.
By the way,
they've been practicing and playing and in rhythm for months and years, and it's been interrupted. And
we're not even talking about his back injuries.
Right.
Remember, before the leg injury, dude had his spine fused.
Yeah.
You use your spine a little bit in golf.
Right. So, I mean, the recovery of Klay has been amazing. And, like, again, to your wife's, it'd be a year and a half from now, she's at the top of her athletic field.
Yes.
And you just go, and you living it every moment, you go, I think that's like the inner circle for Klay would just be like, man, remember when, like, you didn't want to get out of bed. You couldn't get out of bed.
Couldn't get out. You used to wake up.
The setback where you went like, I don't think it's going to happen. And then, okay, it's going to happen. Now I'm like getting momentum, going backwards, momentum again. And
it's the unsexy things we don't talk about. It's having to get over the little stair getting into your shower.
Right.
It's not being able to sleep at night because you can't find a comfortable position or you're having spasms from the muscles healing themselves. I mean, we're going on, but it is, whether you're a Warriors fan or not, I've always been a huge fan of Klay Thompson.
Yeah.
He lives his best life. He drives a boat into games.
Seems like everybody loves Klay, which is awesome.
How can you not?
Yeah. And like all of that all along, it's like, he knew when he was back, he's going to be able to shoot. Like, that's not going to leave him.
Right.
I mean, can he guard Jason Tatum? Can he run up and down the floor? Can he dunk? Can he go back-to-back games? Can he play 30 minutes?
Right.
I mean, and he's starting to check boxes, and he's been doing that for a while, so that's pretty cool.
How is Jordan Poole going to do under the lights? How are, you talk about the Warriors and them winning 15 games or whatever, they get the number 2 pick in the draft. That was almost like, that had situations been slightly different, it's almost like, it reminded me a little bit, for you old heads out there, of the David Robinson, Tim Duncan draft, where they tanked for a year. They get Duncan to go with Robinson, and here we go again. We still don't know what James Wiseman's going to be.
Right.
But we know he was good enough to be the number 2 pick in the draft.
Yeah, and there was some talk he would go 1, so then maybe the Warriors took Edwards if it went the other way, or like if Minnesota took Wiseman. And there was that weird time, I think, in that season where it was just such an oddity when they had D'Angelo Russell.
Uh-huh.
And he could play, but like the fit, and then they moved him for Wiggins.
Yeah.
I don't know. What is this team?
I didn't like the move at the time. I remember saying I didn't like the move at the time and being vocal about it because I thought they had the opportunity to move that number 2 pick along with D'Angelo Russell and really get something. And instead, they took. And by the way, I still might have been right there. I don't know because I don't know what they could have gotten. Wiggins has been great for them in the playoffs. But who could they have gotten for that number 2 in Russell? It obviously is working out and paying dividends. Now, remember also, there was a time, speaking of that draft, where imagine if they'd taken LaMelo Ball.
Oh, right.
I don't know how it would have worked.
Yeah, I think they would have figured it out, but you're right. And then I even thought this last year, when they had 2 lottery picks, and there was a lot of talk about the 2 lottery picks when they weren't attached to names yet, with Wiseman and maybe Wiggins for Ben Simmons or things like that. I'm like, I absolutely would do that.
Yes.
You've already got the 3 anchor pieces and get another star. Like, that's unfair. It's basically getting Durant again in a different form.
Right.
But when they added him, it just felt like, okay, they're clearly the best team. I thought they could retool really fast, but they did it differently, and it actually looks pretty good right now.
I don't know that we've ever seen a situation where, I'm trying to think, was Moody 10? Was Moody picked 10th? Jay, nerd, you know this stuff. Was Moses Moody the 10th pick?
I thought Moody was 7 or was Kuminga 7?
I think Kuminga was 7.
I thought Kuminga was 7.
Then, Moody would have been either 10 or 11.
So I don't even know. We have a team in the finals, continuing a dynasty perhaps, and they have 3 top 10 picks over the last 2 years playing for them. I mean, not counting Wiseman. Oh, he was 14th, excuse me.
But it's a lottery.
It's still 3 lottery picks. I don't know. I can't remember a time where that's happened where the Warriors – assumedly could very well be set up for, and by the way, that doesn't count Jordan Poole.
Right.
Who was picked at the end of the first round.
Yeah.
So you have this core now of Poole, Wiseman, Kuminga, and Moody. And I don't know that all those guys or even half those guys are going to. Poole certainly looks like he's going to work out. Jonathan Kuminga has shown amazing signs, and we kind of knew this coming into the draft that Kuminga was going to be a bit of a project. It was going to take him a couple years, but you've seen these flashes.
Yeah.
And you can't discount for Kuminga, for Wiseman, for Moody. This is where you're getting the best value in the league for guys like Clay and Draymond and Steph. Not only are they good enough to help lead you back to the precipice of a championship, they're also such amazing extensions of Steve Kerr. And when you plug young players into them, they're better players for it.
Yeah, I'm looking at. I know we got a break. Maybe we can come back with this as far as like where the Warriors are. They're the highest rated or highest paid team,
right?
So they spend the most money. But even going forward, they are set up pretty well.
Yeah,
really well.
They're set up really well. We'll get to more of that in a second because it is quite amazing. And then we should probably talk a little bit about the Celtics as well. We'll pause for just 1 minute. We're back after this.
Sports 1140 KHTK. I like this guy. With Jason Ross on Sports 1140 KHTK.
Sleepy Sam Amick's going to join us in a couple minutes.
Oh, cool.
See how clear his head is.
Yeah.
Long nights for this guy.
Yeah.
Covering the team, and he's got a family to raise.
Yeah.
Finals.
Busy time. Draft after that. Free agency right after that.
A very busy time.
Yeah.
For Sam. Welcome back, Jason Ross, Carmichael, Dave. We'll get to what's hot, what's not, and the news and all that coming up at the bottom of the hour. We're talking about the Warriors and how much they're set up for the future as well. We'll get to that in a bit. Right now, from The Athletic, covering the finals, all happenings around the league. He is bright-eyed, he is bushy-tailed, he is ready to go. The one, the only Sam Amick. Good morning, Sam.
Good morning, David. How are you? Sorry for the delay there, buddy.
Hey, you're a busy guy.
Yes, he is.
I understand. You were probably on the phone, wheeling and dealing, you getting free agents and draft picks and coaching carousels and all this stuff.
Yes, that's what I was doing. I was not sleeping in, on the day of the finals.
Yes. Well, we were talking about that, Sam. Like, what finals coverage what year is this for you covering the finals? How many times?
13.
Wow.
I wouldn't guess that many. So for you, I mean, obviously first year, it's got to be the ultimate thrill that you're thinking, man, I'm actually covering the NBA finals. Do you still get that feeling now when you enter the building for game one of a finals tonight?
I do. I actually talked to somebody about this yesterday I will pat myself on the back and say, I think I do a good job of being pretty humble about it and just realizing that it's, you don't take it for granted. And this one is kind of neat because the Celtics involvement is, the first time that they've been in it since 2010, and that was actually my first finals, was Lakers Celtics back then. So the Boston part, I'm kind of fired up about. Game one will probably not feel, as much special, I guess is the word, just because I'm down at Chase Center all the time. But it'll be fun. I think it's going to be a really good matchup too.
Is there a food acceleration in the media room for finals? Like, does it change at all, or is it pretty much the same offerings? I am curious. I've never covered a finals.
I mean, it's typically pretty decent at Chase Center anyway. I think it's in the same ballpark. No pun intended. I assume you're trying to lock in on things that are different of the finals.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, security will jump out at you. You'll realize that that's on a different level. The thing that also, makes you realize that you're lucky to be there is that you look around at the crowd, and this is the part that the regular guy in me hates, is like, if you want to come to these games as a fan, it's, you better take out a second mortgage. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had a couple of my nephews who live in the Bay actually told me the other day, they were like, hey, we're trying to get out to game one, and the, standing room only at the top was, $700. I got an email the other day from one of the second market ticket companies that said the average price, I think, was $2,500.
Oh my God.
And it's, the second most expensive finals that they've ever tracked. So, a lot of cash, and we're out here getting paid to watch these games.
Are you going traveling coast to coast here on this?
Yeah.
Oh,
yep.
wow.
Doing both sides.
Yeah, that's a lot of work. I mean, that part of the dynamic, I just think there's a lot of elements that, one, just the matchup, Sam. I think that, you said it earlier. I mean, it feels like a pretty even matchup going in. Do you agree with that?
I hope the health component, doesn't derail things like it did a little bit in the East Finals. You've got, I know it's part of the game, and I know at this point of the year, everybody's banged up, but, you've got really important guys dealing with stuff. Robert Williams, and the way he looked in Game 7 against Miami, I think he's just a fantastic young player, and I would love to see the Warriors have to deal with him at full strength. You got Marcus Smart with his ankle, Gary Payton II possibly coming back, Otto Porter, Iguodala. So, that stuff is going to come into play. But basketball-wise, I think it's going to be a fun matchup because, for one, these two organizations, I feel like we've talked about the what if of if they matched up against each other in the finals for years now, going back to the Durant Warriors and the Kyrie Irving Celtics. So I think it'll be tight. My on record prediction has been Warriors in 6. But we'll see what happens here.
Jason and I both took the Celtics.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
That's in how many games? Celtics sweep, Celtics in 7. What are we doing?
My caveat was, injuries. And then I said that the second thing is I can't account for how beat up the Celtics are. The road they took was harder than the Warriors. And then thirdly, how they do under the bright lights of the finals versus a seasoned team like the Warriors. I can't count for those intangibles. But that being said, fairly injury-free finals, I would say Celtics in 6. It's just been the better team for 4.5 months. They play insane defense. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not saying listen, Sam, you're probably right. It's tough for me.
No, they're fantastic. You might be right, 100%. The one stat I will say that I keep dropping because it blows me away is, we have this sense of the Celtics big bad defense, and that is very legitimate and real. But Steph Curry, if you take out his last game against Boston, so the last game, you all right there, buddy?
Yeah, that was Jason had
it.
Yeah.
If you take out the one game, he plays 14 minutes in their last matchup, and that's when Marcus Smart hits the floor and Steph gets hurt for the late regular season. Take that game off. The previous 6, Boston against Golden State, Steph averages 35 a game.
Wow. Jeez.
And 52%, I think, from 3. And it just really hit me. It was like, man, this vaunted Celtics defense. Like, how did they – I know the 6 games, people are going to say, okay, only 2 of them, or really only one of them of the ones I'm talking about are this team. But it's still Jaylen Brown, Tatum, Smart, and a cast of characters around them. So, I think Steph and his whole part of this series and the old legacy talk that we focus on, I think he's going to be a really interesting aspect of it.
Which is funny, Jason, because we were during the last break. It's funny what media does, and Sam, you're doing it the right way. But plastered all over, I think it was ESPN, is Steph Curry versus Marcus Smart this season. 1 of 6, 25% or something like that. And the graphic was basically, Marcus Smart in limited time has shut down Steph Curry. And then obviously you provide more color to the situation. Like, Steph's been able to light that thing up a little bit, so it does become interesting. I don't want to interrupt you, Jason. That the way the narratives go.
Well, for sure. And speaking of narrative, Sam, I don't know that Steph's wired this way. You could probably speak to this better. But the other one that's come out as well, Steph. The one thing that's missing is a Finals MVP. I don't know that. I mean, he just wants another ring. But if they get another ring, there's a decent chance he would be the Finals MVP. Do you think that's anything anywhere in his radar that he even cares about?
Yeah, I actually do. It's funny. A couple of years back, when Marcus Thompson, our fantastic writer at The Athletic, wrote a book about Steph, I thought my favorite part of the book was that Marcus really captured Steph's true personality and the one that he hides from the public a lot, which is like the guy who really does care about the Finals MVP and really, the discussion about him maybe being a little bit less than, if you will, because of that. He won't say it publicly. I do think he cares. I'm torn on the conversation because I do think it's missing from his resume. But, we're talking about the difference between are you top 15 or are you top 10 all time? You know what I mean? So it's a pretty it's a pretty great discussion to be a part of. It's funny being out here, around the media, getting ready for this series. I have found myself being, somewhat defensive when it comes to, so a topic keeps coming up about him not having Finals MVP. And it's like, all right, well, I was one of the people who voted for Andre Iguodala in 2015, the one series that, and I would do it again. So I find myself, I think Dave and I have argued about this.
Yes, we have.
So actually yesterday, and I haven't read the San Francisco Chronicle today, but a quick funny moment. I'm sitting there talking with Mark Spears of ESPN and Scott Ostler, the legendary writer for the Chronicle. Yeah. And Scott was asking us casually about why we voted for Andre that year. And we were just having a conversation, right? Or so I thought. And then Scott walks away And he goes, all right, great. Thanks for the insight. He goes, I'm going to roast you both in a column tomorrow.
Come on, Scott. Listen, we are out of time, but I'm going to help you out, Sam, for your one of your coverage articles because I'm sure you don't have the stat. Maybe the most important things in these finals, the Celtics and Lakers tied at 17 wins. The Warriors and Bulls tied at 6 wins. Either the Celtics are going to be the most winningest franchise of all time, or the Warriors are going to move into sole possession of third place. That is your storyline, pal.
I know you're kind of kidding. I do love the Celtics-Lakers part of it is real. Like, I guarantee you, Jeannie Buss is down in L.A. on the end of her seat,
yep.
With her Warriors hat on, without question.
100%.
Love it.
We look forward to your finals coverage. We were like talking before the show, like, what do we ask him Kings related? There's like nothing Kings right now. We know you're paying attention to the finals, but we look forward to.
Mike Brown has comported himself very well as a precursor to his Kings life.
Has yet to lose as a Kings coach. He has yet to lose for the Kings. So, thanks, buddy. Go back to bed.
Yep. Thanks, guys. See ya.
That's Sam Amick. Check them out at theathletic.com. By the way, when we get back, one of the things we'll do, we'll tell you what franchise. And think about this during the break. What franchise has the best winning percentage in NBA Finals history? We'll let you know when we get back there. OpenDoor.com has the best winning percentage in real estate history when it comes to making it easy for you to sell your home. I use them, and I've used them. Matt, you don't even have to use them to sell your home. Be like me, I've not sold my home with OpenDoor.com. I can tell you I almost certainly will when it comes time because of the ease of use. And I like knowing what I could sell my house for. I like knowing that if something happened tomorrow, good or bad, that I could get this price, whatever it may be, for my house. It's so simple. Hundreds of thousands of people have already done this. Go to OpenDoor.com, enter your address, tell them a little about your house. You get an offer in minutes, a real, actual offer. Choose your close date. Move on your schedule. Avoid double moves and double mortgages. Get a free offer at OpenDoor.com/my offer. That's OpenDoor.com/my offer. Offer eligibility varies. Open Door is represented by Open Door Brokerage, Inc., license 02061130, California, and Open Door Brokerage, LLC, in other markets. Some last thoughts on the finals. We'll tell you who has that best winning percentage in NBA Finals history. And we still have what's hot, what's not in the news. All of this in the final half hour next.
Sports 1140, KHTK. And local sports talk in the morning. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on the king of Sacramento sports talk. Sports 1140 KHTK.
There are 6 teams in the NBA that have never made an NBA Finals in franchise history. Not one time. How many can you guys name?
I can name one.
Okay.
Memphis.
Memphis is correct.
Timberwolves.
The Timberwolves are correct. Never made a Finals in NBA. Clippers are correct.
That's 3, right?
Yeah.
Yep. There's still 2 more that are relatively not easy, but just if you think about it, like that have never made a Finals.
I'll get it in a second.
Yeah, I would go expansion maybe.
Atlanta.
St. Louis Hawks, right? That counts?
Yes, franchise history.
Okay.
Golly gosh darn.
Atlanta has made 4, as a matter of fact.
Oh, I'm so way off.
You guys.
Samsonite.
How about?
Ooh, this is good.
Really?
Just need a list of
I said, really? This is good? Really?
This is good radio.
All right, so far we have what? The Grizzlies, the Timberwolves, and the Clippers.
I'm just trying to rack my brain of the 30 teams.
Charlotte.
Nice work.
Made an NBA Finals.
Oh, New Orleans.
New Orleans is the other. That's why I said
5.
Expansion.
One more.
One more. It's a little surprising. Probably the most surprising of the bunch.
Denver.
Denver Nuggets have
Very
never made an
good,
NBA
Jason.
Finals. I asked you before the break. I said who has the best winning percentage in Finals history.
Well, I don't know.
I know 2.
I will tell you this. It is a 4-way tie.
I know 2 of them off the top of my head.
I know one of them.
The Royal Kings.
The Sacramento Kings are tied for the best winning percentage ever in Finals history at 1-0.
The Rochester Royals.
The Rochester Royals. They have franchise history.
I got another one. Jason,
okay.
you have it?
There are 4 total teams that are undefeated in the finals.
Toronto.
That have actually won one.
That's
yes,
the one I was
Toronto is
thinking
2.
What? It's obvious.
The 3rd team that is undefeated in the NBA Finals. They're 6-0.
Oh.
Jay.
The Bulls of Chicago, Illinois.
6-0, the Chicago Bulls. And then this one, it'll just be
Hawks?
No, they won it in 1948. But they're a current franchise.
Oh, the Cagers?
They're not called the Bullets.
Oh, Washington.
The Baltimore Bullets, Washington Wizards.
They weren't in.
Oh, you know what? Actually,
no,
excuse
they're
me.
not undefeated.
Yeah.
They lost in 79 to Seattle.
No. Hold on.
You're a dirty liar.
I'm not. They actually have them as 2 separate franchises. I'm noticing this now.
Okay.
They have the Wizards, who've made it 4 times and are 1-3. And then they have Baltimore Bullets, and then in parentheses, they have the original Baltimore Bullets, who made it in 1948. They folded in 1954.
So it's a 3-way tie.
Kind of a technicality. Yeah, I'd say a 3-way tie.
But the Bulls at 6-0 is pretty
That's
great.
the one.
The Kings.
Kings just need to get there 5 more times.
All right, and lastly on that, just because it's an old topic, but I think it's important.
Yes, we count it.
True or false? Well, it's kind of where I'm going. True or false? The Kings should not get the gold thingy.
They
on the back.
should.
No, they
Completely
shouldn't.
disagree.
No, they shouldn't.
Heritage matters.
It's like the Thunder getting the Seattle one.
Should I not be able to put on a kilt?
No.
Why not?
Because he's saying he's from like Scotland.
I know,
I'm not saying I'm from
his
Scotland.
Ancestors.
I feel like the Kings is a different one. How many moves? Like that's
17.
Rochester to
like if it was Kansas City is the most direct, right?
Was what?
The most direct move that they just had.
I didn't catch the D. Stop. Yeah. And remember, kids, because it's a fun thing to remember, the longest running franchise in the NBA is, in fact, the Sacramento Kings, having started out as the Rochester, the Seagrams, I believe is what it was.
Wasn't after Seagram's alcohol?
Yeah.
What's the year breakdown for the Kings?
What do you mean?
What, 37 here?
This has been their longest tenure in any of the cities. I know that for a fact.
They were the Rochester Seagrams from 1923 to 1942.
That's a good run.
The Rochester Eber Seagrams, 42 to 43.
Love the Eber Seagrams.
Fiscal and Eber?
43 to 45, they were the Rochester Pros.
No, as opposed to the amateurs.
So it's still Rochester.
No. They were talking about poetry.
My bad.
Yes, they would come out.
Edgar Allan's.
Yes, Edgar Allan Pros.
Don't wear bonnets and sonnets.
They were the Rochester Royals from 45 to 57. They were the Cincinnati Royals from 57 to 72.
Wait, but so isn't all this Rochester as one, though? That can't...
So Rochester,
I don't count it.
So Rochester from 23 to 57 is 34 years.
Oh, okay. So we've passed them.
So the Royal King Seagrams
Pros
have been in Sacramento longer than any of their other 4 other cities other than Sacramento.
Well, I'm trying to think. So they won a title in Rochester.
Yeah.
I don't know how far they got into the playoffs in Cincy. I know they got to the Western Conference Finals once in KC.
Yeah. So what? It shouldn't
They
count.
suck.
Yeah, they're terrible. They're the longest running. I mean, I don't think there's a longer running failure in sports than the Kings. They're the oldest team in the NBA, and they're like the worst, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like nobody has missed.
I can't think of another like sports franchise that's that bad.
No, you can't. We're the worst teams in baseball. Like Arizona's won a title, and
baseball's got good
Florida.
balance. I think it's only the Mariners. There's like 2 teams that haven't won, 2 or 3 now.
Yeah, the Mariners might be the closest thing to the Kings, but the Mariners also started in the 70s.
Right.
So the Kings, Royals, Seagram Pros
Lions?
have way more years.
Well, I was thinking the Lions too.
But didn't they win like an NFL title in like the 50s?
Yeah, but we won a title in the whatevers. But
I know recency here because they've been way better, but the Clippers are pretty bad.
Clippers are because what? Have never even made a Western Conference Finals. Is
Until
that
the other year.
Yeah, they did a couple years ago.
Yeah.
But also again, Buffalo Braves, I believe, came into existence in the 70s. The Royal Seagram Pros have way more years on them.
The Detroit Lions did come into the league. They started in 1930.
Oof.
Okay.
But
almost 100 years old, geez.
1935, 52, 53, and 57, they won NFL championships.
Oh.
So they're just in like a 62-year drought, essentially. 65-year
How about
drought.
Cleveland?
So just the Kings are older than them, 1923 to 1930.
Oh, my gosh. The Kings turn 100 next year.
Oh, we've got, what are we
Oh, my God. That's right.
What are we going to do?
We have to do I think we should take at least a 15-minute segment, maybe 20, and recap the greatest moments in franchise history.
For the last 100 years.
Yes.
Do you guys have the Royals radio call by chance of when they won the finals?
Johnson over to Johnson, over to Smith, over to Johnson. Oh, in the bucket. Right.
Backdoor to Kuzi.
I want to take a moment right now to tell you about laudanum. It's great for headaches, see? It was something like that.
So the announcer's first name had to be Dick at the time. And
I'm sure, for sure.
Sanka.
It was
like some live spots for them.
Dick Dickleton.
Yeah.
Pepperfield.
Along with like Pepper Sampson. And we're here live at the Rochester Convention Center and Farmhouse for tonight's matchup between Rochester and Fort Wayne.
Sold out to the rafters. 1,000 tickets gone.
You might remember last time Fort Wayne took out the Royals 23-21 in a barn burner. Cleveland Browns, 1944.
Oh, they're babies.
They have won 8 league championships. 46, 47, 48, and 49. They did a four-peat in the AAFC.
Oh, yeah.
In the 40s.
And then the NFL championships, 50, 54, 55, and 64. Basically from 46 to 64. So that's what, 18 years? They won 8 titles. And they were a dynasty. They've also won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 conference championships. The Kings have not. Except that 1 year in Rochester. We made a Western Conference Finals once. We just did 2 years of retrospect on it.
Yes.
Of participating in a Western. As I said last week, that 2 weeks of us revisiting the 2002 team was KHTK's version of the Pacific Division banner. 100% in our rafters. Not saying we shouldn't have done it.
Pacific or Summer League?
Is the Summer League banner hung?
It should be.
I don't think it is.
It's not.
I don't think so either.
But there should be. We got 2 titles.
If they get a third. just make a whole wall.
If they get a third, is there any way that they could like switch things around and we just become like the Kings are actually they moved to Vegas and they're a summer league team and then their off season is the 82 games here.
I mean, that's kind of how it's been feeling.
We put all our energy in summer and then it's like, oh, this is just the other thing that happens.
We're developing players over those 82 games.
Going back though to the initial point, I just want to get a consensus vote here. Are the Sacramento Kings the worst ever franchise in all of professional sports?
Yes, I think they have to be, right?
It's hard to find one worse.
1923.
Yes.
And
100 years of garbage.
The only teams that are older than the Kings, I think, like I don't even think
baseball teams.
I was gonna say it would have been
there's
Cubs,
a bunch
but
of
they
baseball.
finally got one.
Yeah, there's a bunch of baseball teams.
Probably a couple hockey teams too, believe it or not.
But and that's the thing. I don't. Okay, so the Bear. I was just looking like if there's any NFL teams that were older. The Bears were 1920, and I'm sure there's a couple more, like maybe the Giants or something. But yeah,
I can't think of one.
I think when you combine length and the lack of success, both regular season and postseason,
it's pretty dramatic.
I don't think there's another franchise in American sports that's worse. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. We've done it.
We've won something.
At 8:39 a.m., we have established the Kings are the worst team ever.
We'll really celebrate that next year in year 100.
The year 100 retrospect. He's got the layup. All right, it was amazing. That was that year. That's going to be a depressing thing. But we're 100% doing it.
Do they break the curse on year 100 of the playoff streak?
How long did it take the Cubs? 100 and something?
Yeah, wasn't it something about a billy goat?
Yeah.
What do we need to do? Do we need to?
They hadn't won since 1908, and then they won in 2015 or 16.
Do we need
16?
We don't have to wait that long anymore.
We need to sacrifice a live chicken like in Major League. Is that on the table? Would you sacrifice?
Maybe bury a jersey.
Jason, would you sacrifice a live chicken if it meant the Kings made the playoffs next year?
I would not. I'd let someone else do it.
But no, it had to be you, or they don't make the playoffs.
Sacrifice a live chicken?
Okay, but the chicken gets barbecued. It's not going to waste.
Barbecue chicken.
We'll take a break. I want everybody to think about that during the break. Would you sacrifice a live chicken yourself if it meant the Kings made the playoffs? What's hot, what's not? The news and the answer to that question next.
More.
What's hot?
Yeah, hot. Real hot.
And what's not?
It's not good.
Brought to you by American Energy Air and Solar, Sacramento's complete heating and cooling company, and second opinion partner.
Who's hot is Brendan Rodgers. One of Dave's favorite players.
Love him.
He's the sixth player in the last 20 seasons to cap a 3-home-run game with a walk-off bomb. The other 5 in that span, Eddie Rosario did it for the Twins in 2018.
Yep.
Manny Machado did it for the Orioles in 2017. Chris Davis for our A's in 2016. Joey Votto for the Reds in 2012. And Albert Pujols for the Cards in 2006. What's not? This is a bad memory. On this date in 2010, Armando Galarraga's imperfect game. After retiring the first 26 batters, Armando Galarraga appeared to have thrown a perfect game after a ground out to first, but first base umpire Jim Joyce missed the call. Galarraga retired the next batter.
One of my favorite sports incidents of all time, and I mean that, and I'll tell you why. Because I don't think Jim Joyce could have handled that better, and I don't think Armando Galarraga could have handled it better.
They needed both elements of that.
They did. And I don't like using tragedy when it comes to sports, because tragedy, I think, should be reserved. It was a travesty, there we go, that he lost his perfect game. But had Armando Galarraga thrown a perfect game that day, like, we'd remember it and list it off.
It's more memorable now.
I completely agree with you. Jim Joyce screwed it up. By all accounts, a wonderful umpire and a great guy. He was literally in tears about it. He apologized profusely. And then the next day, the lineup card exchange and the hug and the whole thing, like, that to me was one of those sports life lessons, you know, that meant quite a bit.
Yeah, like now, if it was today, present day, they'd have replay and they would have been out.
Right.
But he owned, I remember, I think his phrasing was, I kicked the call. I blew it. I missed it. And it kills me for him. And I'm really sorry. And it's like, man, good for him.
We have another entrance into the worst franchise argument. And this came to me privately via Facebook Messenger from longtime listener Ryan. I'll tell you about that in a second. Because from the text line, that 2-week celebration of 2002 was the equivalent of when Billy Madison passed a grade. I completely remember this great song.
That's fantastic.
It is.
It
really was.
And then Miss Vaughn brought him snack packs.
I mean, yeah, we haven't Miss Vaughn. By the way,
I think that's our issue.
Veronica Vaughn. Married to who in real life?
Pete Sampras.
That's right.
Yes. Still, I believe, right?
I think so. God bless you, Pete Sampras.
Veronica Vaughn's name in real life. Bridget Wilson?
I think you're correct, actually, about that. Yeah, Bridget Wilson Sampras.
Oh, my bad.
We have a new entry, and this is a good one, fellers. Worst franchise in American sports history. This team was established in 1898. They have won 2 league championships pre-merger, 1925 and 1947. They have 1 conference championship. They are the Arizona Cardinals.
Oh, man.
Them? How about Cleveland?
The Browns?
No, Guardians, Indians.
They haven't won a title since 45?
Maybe even. Let's see. The Guardians. I think it comes down to that. The Guardians, established in 1894. The Guardians have 2 World Series titles, 20 and 48.
Ah, that's close.
They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 AL pennants, 95, 97, and 2. Remember those 95, 90, the Carlos Baerga years.
By the way, the Indians are a much better franchise than the Kings.
They're in the conversation, but I agree with you. I think
they've been relevant multiple times in my lifetime.
I think it comes down to the Cardinals and the Kings.
They had movies made about them.
Yeah. Oh, one of the greatest baseball movies ever. Cardinals and Kings, right?
Yeah.
And I think Arizona's got a case.
They have a really good case, actually.
They might. Well done.
They got us on the longevity part.
They do,
we have a title.
We do have a title.
They've been relevant though in the last 30 years.
I mean, they have championships, but 25 and 47.
Man.
But one conference championship.
What have you done for me since 47?
That's a great point. Well, we don't have any Western Conference championships.
No,
they do.
League, baby.
Maybe we are at, and they've moved.
Yeah,
they started in Chicago, went to St. Louis, and then Phoenix. Remember when St. Louis had the Cardinals and the Cardinals?
Yeah,
isn't that pretty weird, right?
Yes.
Okay. What's hot, what's not, and the news is right now.
Stand by on this frequency.
It's time for the news of the day.
Thank you for ruining the show and dropping a steamer on my journalistic integrity.
Today's important headlines, intelligent analysis, hard-hitting interviews.
Yeah, this is none of those things.
Here's Carmichael Dave and Jason Ross.
Oh my God, I love those guys.
All right, we start as we always do. It is June 2nd, 2022. Sorry. I looked at the days, the national days of today, and they're actually really good. National Leave the Office Early Day, National Bubba Day, National Rocky Road Day, and National Rotisserie Chicken Day.
Okay.
Oh, give me National Rotisserie
I
Chicken
kind of
Day.
thought that, although I do need to understand what National Bubba Day is.
Bubba?
Like bubblegum
Bubba,
shrimp.
B-U-B-B-A.
Bubblegum shrimp, what they got?
We'll revisit. On June 2nd each year, chicken lovers celebrate National Rotisserie Chicken Day. While there's numerous ways to cook a whole chicken, rotisserie chicken offers a slow-cooking method that seals in flavor. Then it explains what it is. How do you observe Rotisserie Chicken Day? Pick up some rotisserie chicken to celebrate. It's perfect for lunch or dinner. You can also share your favorite recipes. What do you serve with your rotisserie chicken?
Mashed potatoes.
We have an excellent selection of side dish recipes to try, too. There's a little link there. Make sure to check them out and share your photos of your friends and family on social media enjoying rotisserie chicken. Include the hashtag rotisserie chicken day in the post.
Is that what's on the meal for tonight for you?
No, it's, well, maybe it is. Maybe it is, although I don't have a rotisserie. Have you ever,
No, I have not.
Rotisserie Chicken Day. Oh, my God. Rotisserie Chicken Day is trending. Come on, man. Who the hell knows this stuff?
You.
All kinds of... You ever had a rotisserie at home?
Yes.
I have not. Really? Yeah, on your barbecue?
Oh, you mean like made it?
Oh, yeah.
no.
Yeah, some people have the little connection
Nah,
on their...
dude, the coolest kitchen gadget we have is a popcorn machine.
That's a pretty cool gadget. Hey, listen, that's a good gadget. Real quick, best way to make a whole chicken, in my opinion, beer can chicken. You ever make it?
Oh, love beer can chicken.
Take a half a beer and do whatever you want with the other half. And here's the trick: put some rub in the beer. Pinch some rub in the beer, and then you stick it right up the chicken's butt.
Yeah, it's actually delicious.
Yeah, and it balances on your grill, and you cook it on low. And hey, now
chicken butt.
Why?
Seriously?
It's not funny if anyone else does it, right? But when Jason does it, it's just hilarious for no real reason.
But when have you ever had a more perfect time to do a guess what chicken butt joke? He just did the perfect chicken butt joke. Congratulations.
Thank you.
National Bubba Day. Each year recognizes all those we lovingly call Bubba in our lives.
Watson?
Smith, the late great.
Harris?
Yeah.
Bubba.
Hit on my mom once.
Wait,
Your
what?
mom was nicknamed Bubba?
No, Bubba Paris hit on my mom.
I missed that phrase, too.
I totally missed that. Really?
Yeah, at an autograph signing.
Really?
Was
right
he
in front of
giving
my
her
dad.
autograph? Or?
No, right in front of my dad, too.
I know. Like, what is your dad doing? Like,
Nothing.
okay. Some famous Bubbas. Emery Nicholas Bubba Church was an American baseball player for 5 years. Bubba Brooks was an American saxophonist. Bubba Blue, Forrest Gump.
Thank you. That's the most famous Bubba.
And a guy named Jerry Lester. Jerry Lester Jr., also known as Jerry Lester Watson Jr. Bubba Watson's real name is Jerry Lester.
No.
Jerry with a G, dude. Gerry Lester Watson.
That should be Gerri.
Right. Is Jerry Watson Jr. a good golfer?
No, he golfs righty.
Terrible.
I have to ask this.
What?
So I just put in a Google search, famous Bubbas.
Yeah.
Can I tell you this one pulled up, and I have questions. Bill Clinton?
Yeah, Bill Clinton was a Bubba. He 100%.
Wait, please tell me his real name is Bubba, though.
No, it's William Jefferson Clinton.
No, I wanted it to be Bubba Clinton.
Nah, for reals.
He's from Arkansas. It makes sense.
Anyways, and finally on that note, make sure you celebrate it.
And spay and neuter your pets.
How do you observe it? You You know someone called Bubba, celebrate the Bubbas in your life. Give them a shout out or phone call. Let them know you're thinking about them. Share memories and a good laugh using hashtag National Bubba Day.
Have you guys ever had a friend named Bubba? I haven't.
Bubba Burridge.
Bubba Burridge.
Yeah.
That's a good. My friend Willie, who I was talking about earlier, the guy that did the fantasy football or baseball scores.
The computer?
Yeah, his sister
Shut it
called
down?
him Bubba, but I don't think his...
So wait, his sister's name was Bubba?
No, his sister called him Bubba.
His family had the machine store.
Yeah, their family had the machine store, and he was called Bubba by his sister, but I don't think that counts. All right, if we only have a couple minutes then. Omri Caspi says...
Not nicknamed Bubba.
4-1 Warriors.
All right.
And then he follows it up with, I only watched one half of Warriors basketball and 2 halves of Celtics, so take it with a grain of salt. All right, Omri.
2 grains.
Did you know that they have announced the 7 finalists for the women's Final Four in 27, 31, whatever there?
Yeah.
Columbus, Dallas, Indianapolis, Portland, San Antonio, Tampa Bay, and Sacramento.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all for that.
Yes.
And finally, the new boss at CNN has told his staff to chill out with the breaking news banners, and oh my God, I'm a fan of that.
Wow.
Everything's breaking news.
Here's Bubba.
For Sleepy Sam, for Jay Mars, for Jason Ross, I'm Carmichael Dave. Enjoy your rotisserie chickens and Bubbas. We'll see you tomorrow. Jim Rome is next. Bye-bye.
Welcome to Allstate.